Good evening and welcome to the show. Before we get going, there's a couple minutes that I want to talk um, about. It's a dark anniversary tomorrow. Um, 17 years ago, we were doing a training mission off on Bonhomme Richard off San Clemente. It's in California, and at 2:30 in the afternoon, our aircraft that was flying Bullet 10 threw a mayday out, and 10 seconds later, the aircraft was in the water. And I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that crew. And tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon, if you would, take just a moment of silence, remembering Adam and Laura and Corey and Chris. So if that's something you could do, I would appreciate that. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman, and tonight we're talking about monkeys, 12 of them specifically. 12 Monkeys, 1995, directed by Terry Gilliam, starring Bruce Willis. This is a very exciting and weird movie. We're gonna go around the horn, and then we're gonna have a short discussion about one of the actors we just lost. So let's go around the horn real fast. And I didn't even prepare my intros this week. I'm so far out of whack this week. So we'll just do it the calm and easy way. I know I'm fucking everybody up, and I'm sorry about that. Shield Wall of Dragons, my good friend. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Glad to be here. Yeah, this movie's kind of a weird one. And I saw it initially when it came out, and then I watched it again today. And yeah, it's definitely Brad Pitt is kind of you can kind of see his like his acting chops come out a little bit. When you first might realize, hey, this guy might actually have something special about him. And of course, yep. Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis. But yeah, it's overall it's a strange and twisty movie. I'll just say that. But yeah, happy to be here with everybody.
Right on, and always good to have you, my friend. Mando, the untamed Mando. How are you this week?
I am doing all right. For those of you who are unaware, I recently got into a little fender bender, and I've been back and forth with insurance stuff, and hopefully soon I will either be getting a brand new car or getting my car fixed, because the adjuster or the appraiser came out and looked at my vehicle and said, "Oh dear."
So that's never good. That's never good, by the way.
Well, it's good if the other insurance is going to pay for it. So hey, so yeah, that's why I haven't been online much, because it's just very draining to talk to lawyers and insurance and all that stuff. So that's why I've been kind of quiet on the internet. But I'm still here.
Doing all right. And we are glad. We are very glad for that, Mando. Golly, well, accidents suck. Accidents are the worst. They're no fun. There's just no good way. There's nothing good. There's nothing good about them. It's always an inconvenience. Yes. Anyway it goes, it's always an inconvenience. Jacob Ironside, welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you?
I am well. I'm mentally divergent. So
you are. I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. And I believe that I too am mentally divergent, friend. So
I was not expecting to see Bruce Willis's backside twice. And Brad Pitt's backside.
We were lucky.
Not
We were
expecting
lucky. We were
that.
blessed.
Wait. So
that is the
I
only reason I
forgot.
hadn't watched this film.
So Jacob, this was a first time viewing for you. Was it anybody else a first time viewing? So Beard as
Yeah.
well,
Me.
I see.
I mean,
it.
that's shocking to nobody.
and you too, Mando. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. All right. Well, we have the mentally divergent Jacob Ironside and the funkiest monkey, our good friend Matt.
There's a story behind that, as I told those off air, which involved debauchery, and that's all I can say. But I will forever associate the song "Brass Monkeys" from the Beastie Boys with this movie because of that. So
That funky monkey. Sure. Blair de Blair, our favorite internet wizard. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. I just watched the movie again today too. I saw it when it first came out, and I haven't seen it in a while, and I forgot just how weird it is. He's got a plastic wrap fetish or something.
I was 3 years old when this movie came out.
I was going to say,
you don't need to bring that kind of negativity to the stream, man. No,
I was going to say, I didn't
just
even
to let
think
you
she
know
was
that.
born when it came out.
No, I was born in '92. Excuse you.
Children's.
I was 9 years old.
If 12 Monkeys tried to get in his house, they'd be in for some hurt. It is our good friend Beard of Liberty. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if it's got. I don't know
his beard eats monkeys for breakfast.
Thanks for having me. And as shocked to nobody, this was a first watch for me. Didn't know what I was going to get going into it. I knew it had time travel.
Okay.
But,
what was your takeaway from it, Beard?
Yeah, I went into it like, okay, it's going to be a time travel thing. It's like, trying to change. Oh, no, we're going back a whole bunch of times. We're trying to get information so that they can fix the future. Oh, no, this is a lesson on determinism.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not what you expect it to be by a long shot.
No, I enjoyed the ride.
And I think if, for those of us who were there those many years ago when this film came out, the commercials didn't do it justice. You did not know what you were getting when you walked into that theater. Everybody has their kind of preset, and then you get it. It's like
there would be no good way to advertise it without giving away plot points. I mean, these days they would just do it anyway. They'd give you the entire movie in 15
because
seconds.
that's what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the way, for those of you who are just joining us and haven't seen 12 Monkeys, this whole fucking thing is going to be spoilers. So just prep for that.
Like a movie like this couldn't be made today because there's no real ending. Like you don't get a happy ending and you don't really know what goes on. It's very ambiguous.
I thought the ending was solid. We'll talk about this, Mando, because it was weird, but I was satisfied with it. Our friend from up across the pond, the redheaded giant in the land of the rising sun, Ninja, good to have you back, my friend.
Happy New Year to you all. I hope you all had a good New Year and holidays, and happy lucky Year of the Dragon to you all out there.
It is the Year of the Dragon.
Yes.
That is my son's year. He was born in
good.
The last year of the Dragon.
Nice.
If memory serves. No, it was a couple of years ago. I don't know these damn things. I'm not good at anything.
Memory's overrated.
As we've learned.
This movie, I've watched it several times. I love this movie. It's one of those movies where you could just. I've got a list of movies where you could just, whenever I'm doing my artwork, I like to have a movie on in the background, something I can listen to, and this is one of them. Gary Gilliam's. Am I pronouncing his name right? I always get people's names wrong. Terry Gilliam. Why did I say Gary? Terry Gilliam. Is it Gilliam or Gilliam?
I always say it Gilliam, but I am not always right.
We Americans say Gilliam,
and in the chat.
All right. We'll go with Gilliam then. He's got a very unique and awkward, very funky kind of style, and I thought that Brad Pitt. Well, we'll go into all this later on, but no, Brad Pitt. This was one of my favorite movies of his. Like, I think this is one of his best acting roles. Yeah, without a doubt.
He can actually act that good. Because all the movies you see him now,
he was up for Best Supporting Actor for this role back in the day.
Yeah.
He didn't win, but he was up for it. So, pay attention.
And this is one of those movies that I've watched several times. And when I first watched it and when I recently watched it, I got completely two different, interpretations. And I guess with all the stuff that we've gone through with these last couple of years, you could see it through a different kind of lens as well. So, yeah. Yeah,
but yeah, are you kidding me? This is the current administration's wet dream.
Exactly.
Right.
The playbook.
Speaking of wet dreams, our good friend Josh McDonald has returned to the show. Josh left. Josh was there, then Josh is now in hiding for some reason.
I'm here. I had to hide because all these fantastic beards just made me self-conscious. So I had to shut the.
It's a beard-heavy show tonight.
Be honest, you were threatened by my beard. Let's just be honest. It's the best.
No, my internet's being shit. So I was like, let me see if I can help it out and cut my camera off. But I'm here, and I've seen this before, but it's been a long time. So.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it in a minute as well, and poor Matt had to help me find a way that I could get my fucking screenshots. But that's a longer story than I feel like telling tonight. So let's say hi to our chat real fast. We have with us Melvin Deeply from across the pond. What is that sound? Jacob, is that you?
Is that you?
It's not
the monkeys.
It could be the monkeys. Mark, welcome, Mark. Bad news from Mark of Reality and Crash Cars. Good to have you with us, though. I appreciate you being out there. Oh, awesome. Jay, our Diabolical Souls, Gooch. Gooch. Horrifying image, the Gooch. Cannoli Sasquatch, another one of the Paisans out there. Welcome, my friend. Dempsey. Always good to have Dempsey with us. R.I.P. Irene. Always good to have Dempsey. Tom of Tom's Tinkering and Adventures, my Las Vegas traveling companion, one of my old friends. Invader Zim, nice to have you back, Zim. Always happy to see you out there. Ducka. Oh, Squeaka Mouse.
Squeaka Mouse. How's it going?
My jailbird lover.
Yes. Yes.
The flirting in the chat has already begun for anyone who is curious.
God. So thank you for being out there, Squeaka. We actually Joker. I don't know if anybody has seen Joker. Please direct him our way. I always get worried when I don't see Joker.
We must summon him with the sound of his people.
It's true.
Joker, we beseech thee, grant us your presence.
Return to us, Scissor Brother.
Even when he's not here, he's here. So I hope
Scissor Family
he pops in.
I hope he's okay. I think the last time he was in no show, there was a fire. So
yeah, his house was on fire. So that was less good. So I sent him a DM. I haven't seen anything back.
You have to say his name 3 times.
Batman must have got him to put him back in Arkham.
That does not appear to be the case. So thank you for being here, chat. So Matt, I'm going to let you take the reins here real fast as we pay homage to this actor now passed.
So, and I will talk more about this on Friday afternoon and tomorrow at 3:00 if any of you want to pop in and talk more extensively about it. So this week, Gary Graham passed. He was 73, which is not that old. He's less than 20 years older than some of us. He's most famous, I guess, for more modern people for Ambassador Soval in Star Trek Enterprise. He is as an actor, he loves science fiction, oftentimes taking less money or doing it for free. That's how much, so that's one of the main reasons I wanted to give a little thank you, Mr. Graham, for entertaining us over the years, and to point a few projects of his out on Roman's large audience. He played Ambassador Soval on Star Trek Enterprise. You may have heard about a science fiction fan film for Star Trek called Axanar, which has been on some legal issues, but which is still coming out as a TV show now, fan film TV show. He's played Soval in Axanar. You can see the prelude to Axanar where he played. This is probably going to be his last ever film is when Axanar comes out in another year or so. It's still been filmed, it's being doing post production. He was in He's been in Star Trek fan films as other characters. Somebody loves it. This is sci-fi. Another thing he's famous for is his TV show Alienation, which was back around in right around the year this movie came out. 12 Monkeys, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Good show. Good
show. Yeah. Based on a film, but a good show.
The reason they did the 5 follow-up movies is in part because Gary Graham wanted that character to have more arc, and he did it for less money. There were 5 really good follow-up films to Alienation. He's also in, you've seen him on over the years. If you've like Robot Jox, he played Achilles in Robot Jox. If you know what that film is, that was 1992. And he's been in a lot of stuff since he was in Starsky and Hutch and Chips, and you've seen him in a lot of supporting roles over the years. Another thing, it's funny enough, he is associated with Bruce Willis. In Moonlighting, he originally played an assassin who tried to kill Bruce Willis's character, I believe, in the season premiere of Moonlighting. And Bruce Willis, this is one of Bruce Willis' first big films, is 12 Monkeys. And another TV show he was in, which only lasted like 15 episodes, maybe. It was right around the time. It's called Mantis. It was a sort of sci-fi.
I remember
TV
Mantis.
Show. Yep. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. He was like a supporting character in most of the episodes there. He appeared in Babylon 5 Crusade in 1 or 2 episodes. So you've seen him in a lot of sci-fi and a lot of TV and stuff. In more recent times, he's obviously all his career wound down. He did Jeepers Creepers Reborn. He played in that film. It was his last movie, I think. He did like a satire on the Expendables a couple of years ago. And I'm trying to remember. The one thing you should go to see if you really want to get a really great acting performance in Star Trek of Gods and Men, which is one of the best Star Trek fan films ever. He was in that. Total work for free on it. Like I said, he's been a lot of great entertainment in both sci-fi and non-sci-fi. But he's one of those actors who loves science fiction and enabled it through working for less or in some cases free. So I strongly urge you guys to maybe, if you've never seen anything besides Star Trek with him in it, see some of the other stuff he's done, because he's a very underrated actor. And I'll talk more about tomorrow with some clips and stuff so you guys can see.
Right on. Well, thank you for doing that, Matt. I appreciate it. There's the character actor, which I would qualify him as largely. Yeah. You see these guys in so many things, and then you don't hear anything bad about them, which is always nice. And 73 is in modern era is a pretty. He's not ancient. It seems like it to you younger folk, but it's really not that old. So R.I.P. Gary Graham. So here we go. Time to talk monkeys. If anyone sees Joker out there, please send him our way. And also, if you're out there, please like the stream, because YouTube enjoys that. And it's one of those things, kids, that you just have to worry about. So we're going to get rolling here.
So I have a question for our first-time viewers. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm not asking a gotcha question. I'm just curious. Before you watch this movie, had you ever heard of Terry Gilliam?
I want to say, yeah, I recognize the name. If you had asked me,
I also recognize the name.
What he did, I probably could have told you.
I will say yes, and I will follow this up with I'm a huge Brazil fan.
So the film that everyone would have heard of that he did is Monty Python. He was one of the 2 directors from Monty Python.
That's probably where I heard him from. Yeah.
He did all the animations for it.
Yep,
the TV show too.
And to understand, this film, Terry Gilliam is one of those directors who, it's a Terry Gilliam film. So he only did 12 of them. Let's read them off real quick. Monty Python, Jabberwocky, Time Bandits, Brazil, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is bat crazy, bat crap crazy, but The Fisher King, 12 Monkeys, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Brothers Grimm, Thailand, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, The Zero Theorem, and The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. So it's only 12 films, and you watch a Terry Gilliam film, and you will know it's a Terry Gilliam film. You know what I mean?
True. Although I would argue, Matt, that this film is maybe the least Terry Gilliam film of the Terry Gilliam films. If those words made sense putting them together. This movie actually was, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound weird, was pretty grounded. It's one of the things I really like about the movie. This is a sci-fi movie and a time travel movie, but there's almost, aside from when you're in the present in the year 2023, there's almost no special effects on this. And even then, it's more set stuff. There's really almost no special effects in this movie.
Well, who said the word determinism before?
I think that was Beard, if I'm not mistaken. It was either Beard or Blair.
Yeah. This film is determinism is a very strong part of this film. Science fiction writers and movie makers, Dune, Asimov with the Foundation stuff. You can go on. The concept of the future being immutable, which in a sense it is here, right? Because the premise on, I don't want to monopolize. I just want to get this out because it's real important. You go into this film, and one of the reasons it works because we know the time travel is real because we see it as a third person, right? But we also know that the mission isn't to solve the 5 billion people because you can't. Time is immutable, deterministic, So what is this film about? And this is a very Terry Gilliam thing. Like if you watch some of the crazier ones, like Munchausen of Brazil, for example, or Monty Python, the humor ones, it's how the characters deal with the crazy. You know what I mean? The whole like how if you're confronted with this inevitability that you're living in, which is very similar to Dune and Dune Messiah, for example, how would you deal with it? It breaks Bruce Willis's character, obviously, right? You know what I mean? And eventually it breaks Madeline Stowe's character as well, So I put
Brad Pitt was broken when the movie started.
Yeah. Yeah. Who, by the way, like this is the movie that made me think Brad Pitt's actually a good actor.
No, it actually brought me over as well. Yeah. Because he was in a lot of kind of more films that appealed to the female more.
Pretty boy films is what I call them.
Yeah, and this was not that. this was pretty fucking far from that.
His big movie at the time was The Adventures of the Fall, which I think might be the most boring movie ever made, ever.
My favorite part of that movie is after Anthony, good God, Roman.
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins has the stroke, and they come to his farm, and they're trying to basically bully him to giving up his kid. He has this board that he writes on, and he's just like, "Fuck off!" And he holds the board up, and that's my favorite part of the movie. What are we working on tonight, James?
Well, it's a blank piece of paper. Well, I'm trying to choose from some shots.
Oh,
here.
Wow!
So, I quite like this one right here, but I don't know. I haven't chosen yet. Just got some reference photos here.
Well, whatever it is, I'm sure it is going to be awesome because they all
thank you.
are. So the movie starts with that intro. The 5 billion people are going to die in 1997, and that the animals rule the world. And that's your stage. There's no. What I like is they don't give you the whole thing in the opening, which would have been a terrible, terrible mistake. Appeal to females. Have you seen him? Bruce Willis, yeah, bald. He's a delight in this. I know.
I would argue that the film doesn't give you any details. You don't even know what year it is.
You're right. It's just determined. Yeah, they never explicitly say it's 25, 35. You just kind of do math and you end up there.
That's assuming you know how old Bruce Willis's character is, right? So he could be. I don't think he's 28, but he could be 38. He could be 48, possibly even 58.
True.
So you just don't know.
I love this series you see this series of flashbacks throughout the movie, and at this point you have no idea. You have no reference point for what this is.
Right. And the reason that I'm using the 8 in there is because later in the movie he stipulates that he was 8 years old when it happened, when the 5 billion people died.
So we go from here, fresh-faced young boy, to this, not fresh-faced young boy. And the future they live in is so horrible. You've got, they're going through, they're calling for volunteers. Volunteers is kind of like the military. when they're calling for volunteers, it's something you probably don't want to do, except here they don't get much of a choice.
It's called being voluntold.
Yes.
Yes.
It reminds me of volunteer service here in Japan for like teachers. You volunteer to work on the weekends.
You know what reminded me of when I rewatched it? Well, there was a time travel movie with, I think, was it Tom Cruise or whatever, where they were going back in time after an alien invasion.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, and all the people who had died in the alien invasion were taken forward to the future to fight in the war.
Oh no, that's a different movie. No, you're thinking. You're thinking of the one, the Tomorrow War. Yeah, with what's his fuck?
Chris Pratt movie.
Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, it took a minute to.
Where they brought that guy in and he never got rid of his chef hat.
Yeah. Or there was another film kind of like this called Millennium, where they were going back in time again. People got an airplane.
Yeah.
Airplane taken into the future to.
This I think was vastly superior to either one of those.
No, I agree. I'm just saying the concept though of inevitability and determinism, and then the future sort of playing with, well, how do you deal with that? You know, like I mean, I'll be blunt. This of the guy who wrote this, who worked with Gilliam on some other films. This is one of the least interesting films of his he wrote that I like. He wrote Blade Runner. He wrote Lady Hawk. He wrote a film probably all of you have seen called The Bloody Heroes with Rutger Hauer, but it's probably like the best of. It's a great movie. Or he wrote the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell. You know.
Oh, really? Same screenwriter,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Plus
David Peoples,
Leviathan, and David Peoples. Him and his wife wrote all those movies, right? And
yes, Salty. That is true. We were talking about that. This is the current administration's wet dream.
Salty. They weren't eating bugs. Well, he was, but they weren't.
I still don't understand that. Like,
he was getting a specimen.
That shot right there, Roman.
Poor spider.
Reminds me of The Matrix a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because we don't know how big this facility is. We don't know how many. These are the prisoners. Now, what makes you a prisoner? How do you become a prisoner? Apparently disobeying, being rowdy. It doesn't take very much because they probably are looking for prisoners. So
yeah, well, they have to. I mean, there's so limited resources that anything you do to deviate, you know.
Yep. Yeah, very strict system. This is not your parents' United States. It's not our United States right now. That 15-minute city vibe. Yes, that's true. They're right there.
So with that opening shot, that looked like something that would have been a place in Time Bandits they could have time jumped to.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. That's Gilliam's visual style. Like you'll see that in other movies he does. That like you'll see. You know what I mean?
And this is the only. And again, the future is the only place that really looks. I mean, that's it. Everything else is kind of normal-ish, but it's got a bit of a twist. You get the guard because Bruce Willis doesn't want to volunteer. He's like, I didn't volunteer. He's like, are you causing problems again, Cole? It's like, yes, no, I'm sorry. please just leave me alone. So the cast in this. So again, we talked about directed by Terry Gilliam. James Cole, the main character, is Bruce Willis. Madeline Stowe plays Catherine Riley, who we'll be seeing soon. Brad Pitt, Jeffrey Goings. He was nominated for an Oscar. What's that, Matt?
This is when Madeline Stowe was really, really hot.
Yes, I was just going to say that, Matt. I forgot.
Last of the Mohicans.
David Morris as Dr. Peters, and you may not even know if you actually hear his name in this, but you've seen this actor in a million different things.
Seen elsewhere.
Frank Gorshin is Dr. Flesher, so you get to see Frank Gorshin. I hadn't seen him in fucking forever until he was in this, and then a very small role from Christopher Plummer in this.
Yeah.
So this is great.
By the way, we will all be wearing this in the future.
He's basically putting on a body condom here because he has to go out to the surface to collect specimens. This is a very elaborate suit. Look at this thing. It's pretty awesome. This is crazy costuming here.
Well, this is totally like French comic books right here. You know what I mean? If you guys have ever checked those out? It's completely like that style. Totally.
As crazy as it looks, because it's very Gilliam-esque, in terms of them being in an almost lower tech society as they lose technology. The way the gear, even the way the syringes work, like makes sense from a like we don't have super technology to make this stuff anymore. You know,
well, it's a weird kind of mishmash of different technological times. Like you've got stuff that looks like it's clockwork. You got stuff that looks like steam powered. Then you've got computers, and it's just all over the place.
Steampunk.
I love it.
I saw in the credits that this was inspired by a French film, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What does that mean in French? Are there any French speakers out there? I don't know what that translates into because it's not 12 Monkeys. I know that.
It means eat the bugs.
I don't know what it translates to, but it's a science fiction sort of like it's done different style. I haven't seen it since I was like, I don't know, 10 or whatever, but it's like almost like a motion comic book, if I remember correctly.
So
it's a short film and it's about similar plot to this. You have to go back to the past to do something.
I'm wondering if the style of like him having to put that suit on, and later on you'll see they really love their like slaughterhouse plastic stuff, and whatever. If the Marilyn Manson video people like took inspiration from this.
Oh, definitely.
You know, where they've got like all these like early 20th century, 1910s, 1920 medical equipment strapped on everything, making it look all creepy. The other thing is that when he was putting the suit on, the whole time there was like a recording.
I think you can, Zax.
Telling him,
if
the suit gets punctured, you're dead. If
if your shit gets fucked up, you are not getting back in. You are not coming back into the safe underground. So it's funny. You watch these scenes in the beginning, and when you come back to the 1990s, you see these things. It's they do such a good job of the empty future and then the bustling, well, I guess the empty present and the bustling past. The juxtaposition of the two, it's very well done. I love his little kid.
As I was watching this, I was wondering, Roman likes this weird show, but doesn't like The Fifth Element.
This was 9,000 times better than the Fifth Element. While there is subtle comedy in this, they don't have. Never mind. Don't get me started on The Fifth Element, Jacob. That wasn't nice. That was unkind. You should. As an elder, you should be kind to me.
What you missed is when he opens that little inspection kit, he has a Dallas multi-pass in there. Multi-pass.
Damaged shield wall. So he's collecting whatever he can on the. A bear pops up. He's like, "Fuck!"
You can
tell. Fucking bear.
You can tell that that's a Hollywood bear because that is a fat bear.
Yeah,
it's way overfed.
I don't think there's a lot of eating in this world either, because there's no people, there's no surface dwellers in this world. So unless he's eating other
there should be
animals,
metric crap tons of deer and whatever, like
there should be. I mean, they don't show them. They don't show a lot of that. No, you do see a lot of.
Well, nowadays this would all be CGI. They used real animals. For this.
Yeah.
I also want to point out that this is winter, and a bear in the winter that's that fat has been eating so much food in the non-winter part. It's probably like 6 times as fat. You know what I mean? Like bears hibernating in the winter for a reason. Yeah.
That was my thought too. I was like, why is there a bear walking around New York City in the middle of the winter?
Yeah. Also, just to interject just a little bit. Oh, Weeping Angel, stop! Anyway.
Don't blink.
Don't blink. Whatever you do.
Just to interject a little bit of science. If there was a virus that could still be active that would kill people on the surface at the time, it would already have permeated their area downstairs. There's no way so the virus is probably gone on the surface in real terms.
I have multiple theories that we can get to later on, but like that plays into one of my theories that I have.
Yeah.
We should not body shame the bear.
No. Roman, you had the
interestingly enough,
opportunity.
The body positive bear there.
Yeah. Bears have horrible vision compared to people, but great sense of smell. And if he's wearing all that plastic, the bear can't even really detect him.
What were you saying, Jacob?
You had the perfect opportunity to mess with us with the angel. You could have thrown in a slide of a weeping angel coming at you.
No, That's far more. Yeah, I don't have that kind of time in my life, Jacob. I don't have time to be clever anymore. I'm just, you get what you get with this show. You all know it. It is what it is.
Exactly. That would
it's
really
not pretty.
make this,
it's not pretty.
What are you talking
really
about?
make science
Scissors make it
fiction
all better.
fantasy.
It's true. It's true. So again, now we're in the presence in 2030. These are just buildings. I don't know how they did what they did here. It looks wonderful, but they don't. You just have the dead store, the dead buildings. Everything looks like it's just been sitting there rotting for 30 years.
It's probably Detroit.
Or New York in the 1970s.
Philadelphia later, and it's like, wow, that's incredible. Their bad version of Philadelphia looks way better than it is now.
So you get this. We did it with the Army of the 12 Monkeys on it. They're working with very sketchy information in the present. Hey, there he is, our man.
Joker.
Hey, buddy.
Yes!
What did you need to break out of Arkham again to be with us tonight?
Well, I got involved in I got in between something, or should I say, someone.
Oh my!
Jeez.
Yes, it's just to say, got in a little scuffle with Harley Quinn and Punchline. The Huntress and Blackhead Canary showed up. One thing leads to another. Joker, now you know why Joker has a smile on his face.
I'm more uncomfortable than I'd like to be, but that's okay. That's fine. So anyway, so we are still very early on in this Joker. We did it part. So
I watched this film last night. That's a great shot right there.
I love it.
And
the lion.
How everyone talks about.
Oh my God,
guys! Everyone talks.
Sorry, Joe. I had to look this up so this is real life New Jersey for you guys. I had to look up where they filmed this film. Okay, and if you're not from New Jersey, this reference won't mean anything to you. But they filmed it in Camden, New Jersey, which really was a dilapidated wasteland for the most of the 80s and 90s and 2000s.
Okay, and that's supposed to be Philadelphia for those of you.
Yeah,
right.
It was destroyed by the government trying to help, and
well,
Camden, New Jersey is the butt of the joke in New Jersey for 40 plus years now about the government trying to help you.
Oh, gotcha. Got it. So here's Bruce Willis getting a nice shower. And this poor man has this happen to him a couple times.
And we see a lot of Bruce butt in this film.
Yeah.
That's what Jacob was saying the same thing. He was very upset about that.
Here. Well,
let's just
guy here. Go back one round.
That you don't get a butt like that in a cell as tiny as he was living in.
I wanted to say that I watched this film recently from last night at work, and I'm like, and I'm like, okay, I remember Brad Pitt, I remember Bruce Willis. I didn't remember that much of Bruce's ass, but but for me, the unsung hero of this film is Madeline Stowe. Was amazing in this film.
Oh yeah.
And
she has to start as the psychiatrist who thinks he's completely batshit to slowly accepting the reality of what's happening.
But did you see that skirt that she takes that she walks into jail with?
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Madeline Stowe has one of the 10 best pairs of legs I've ever seen.
I have legs, Matt. Do you want to see my legs?
I don't mind seeing Madeline Stowe's back in the 90s.
Mine have a lot more hair on them. They're like two fucking giant spiders. It's horrible. So so Bruce gets done.
You get upset with this?
What?
Yeah, he thinks you're gonna shave his legs like that.
Yeah, don't do that. The live reaction. I don't know. No, I don't know. What this is.
Ew, Sax. No, wrong. Boo. Ew. No.
And probably the reason he's showing off Bruce Willis in the buff is at the time Bruce Willis was a heartthrob. You know?
Yeah.
Even though he did shave his head for this. This was before he was naturally bald. This was This was pre-bald Bruce Willis era. Wait, what? yes, Zim. It's in the future. Look, we all need to make a buck. All right, we all need to make a buck. Don't judge.
See,
so here
this is a great example.
Yeah,
it's a great example of what I was talking about. This mishmash of technology. You got the flip counter. You've got the gears turning. You got notes hanging from strings. Nothing makes sense. Everything's anachronistic, and I love it.
Yeah, this is totally Time Bandits right here.
Yeah, right. And that's
because
and Dark City a little bit.
That's one of the things that bothered me is this film involves time travel, but they give no of how the mechanics of their time travel work. You're naked. You got electrodes on your neck, probably on your ball sack too.
Terry.
And you're in a plastic thing, and they just shove you through a plastic vag. And I'm like,
it's weird.
Yeah, it's like an easy bake oven.
Terry
it's almost like when you have like magic in a show, you don't want to really reveal how the magic is done. You know what I mean? This is kind of left to your imagination. So I kind of like that kind of.
Gilliam doesn't care about that stuff. He just does. Yeah. Like he doesn't. You know.
I was thinking they were using like more wormhole physics and just experimental science.
I have no idea.
To wormholes.
You said wormhole or wormhole?
I believe it was worm. I believe it was worm.
It kind of sounded like a worm.
Wormhole.
Worm. Worm. I'm from the South. I can't say words.
So we meet the scientists, and they basically are, talking to Cole about they're looking for someone with a strong mind. How the other subjects didn't necessarily fare too well, which Cole alluded to earlier with the volunteers. He's like, yeah, that's why none of the volunteers ever come back because something goes wrong with their brains. Well, they don't even really talk about what they're about to do to him in this scene. They just talk about they need someone with a strong mind. They don't talk about the time travel aspect of this yet, which is a little bit weird. We just know he's getting volunteered for something, and then suddenly he's back in the present.
They put him in a really weird chair too. That like you get in it.
Yeah.
That chair's cool.
Yeah. So here we are. Here's the chair. Yeah, because they dismiss the guards, and he's not going to be in trouble. Why don't you have a seat?
in Brazil, the torture chair.
Yes. Yeah.
And this has a lot of overlaps with the stylings he used for Brazil. That's given.
Yep.
And this disco ball thing.
This thing caused them so much problem filming. Apparently, it broke literally every fucking time they needed to use it.
Oh,
it's like Jacob's internet.
Like the little TV screens didn't work or something.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Because what else?
It wouldn't work either.
Yeah, the machine to get the thing to lift up the dolly or whatever, nothing fucking worked. So it was like rolling the dice every time. But it came out really good in the movie.
Is that Kevin Feige from She-Hulk?
Is it just me, or does that orb thing also look kind of like the globe that is later thrown down from a piano? Later on in the film.
I don't know. Maybe.
It
kind of reminds me of the from Fallout.
Yeah, well, since you know Fallout, it actually reminds me from the Fallout New Vegas expansion, Old World Blues.
Yeah.
With the robot scientists. Anyway, I wasn't going to say because I figured nobody knew what I was talking about.
This does predate Fallout, though, in case anyone's curious.
I remember in 1986 was Transformers, the movie Inside Unicron's head. When you see what Unicron sees, there's a big ball with TV monitors on it. That's what the first thing that comes to mind when I saw that years ago.
To me, it just looks like the living embodiment of a migraine headache.
Yeah.
So now we're in 1996, and we're hearing bad poetry. Or I'm sorry, 1990. 1990.
And it's in Baltimore. Another
2 years
wasteland.
before I was born.
Fucking
Another
shithole.
wasteland.
I'm not sure.
I apologize to any of our viewers in Baltimore. Baltimore is a shithole. It is
Was
a
it-
big, giant shithole in the planet.
Was this shithole in 1990 though?
Yes, it was. It's Baltimore has always been a shithole. It's just the expansion of the shithole. There's like nothing good in Baltimore anymore. It used to have.
Well, no, they did a big
pockets
renovation.
of
Remember
good.
they built the Orioles baseball stadium. There's a lot of big renovations, and
They had Camden
There's
Yards.
a bad poet.
For a brief time, it was nice.
It's nothing is nice in Baltimore now. Nothing.
Camden
now
Yards.
it's a wasteland.
I
So
mean,
her
it
beavers
has
all
the
gone.
USS Constitution there, but
I
that's
thought that
about
was
the
up in
only good
Baltimore.
thing.
Wait, isn't the Constitution in Boston?
No, it's
Yeah.
it's in Baltimore.
I thought it was in
Are
Boston.
you sure?
No, well, maybe it is now, but it was in Boston years ago. Because that's why I saw it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in Boston. You know what? It doesn't fucking matter. So now Madeline Stowe, that was the lady we just saw. She was at a bad poetry reading. Her beeper goes off. She has to get the fuck out of there. Now we are in the worst fucking prison I've ever seen in my life. But I
That's
guess
a
this is
county
Baltimore,
jail.
so
That's a
it
county
is a jail.
jail.
That's right. It's not prison. It's not good. There's vomit and shit everywhere. I don't have all the lineup.
so-
this guy's giving it a rundown here though.
Yeah, he is.
As much as I love this scene, I work in healthcare. Not that I'm an attractive person, but we're told specifically when going among the loonies, right? Among the crazies and the prisoners, we have a prisoner ward. There are certain ways you don't dress, certain ways you don't act.
This is it. This is all of them. Big piles of shit next to each other. Yes, Zim, that is an accurate portrayal of most of the large cities in the United States, actually, but those are specifics. So this guy appears out of nowhere. He's wearing a see-through lady's raincoat. He fucking knocked out like 5 cops, and now they got him in lockdown.
And
so what he did for that,
do his eyes ever not stay on her ass? Like, do they ever come up?
I mean, can you blame
Mine
him?
wouldn't. Mine
I
wouldn't.
not with the.
Every scene where they showed those, I didn't look at anything else. I freely admit that. Even watching
anything.
I fat fingered the fuck out of that. Well, that's all right, Sam. So now she's getting to meet him, James Cole. That's the only information they got out of him was his name, and he poured like Tabasco into his mouth so that he would just keep drooling like this. This looks disgusting. By the way. Everything about this looks fucking disgusting. It gives me the Ghibli's just looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
As a visual, I mean, it's very. I mean, it's almost tangible. The ick factor in this place.
Again, a very Terry Gilliam thing. A lot of visual contrast in every scene, like he does the pretty and the ugly, to make them both stand out. You know what I mean? Like you can see in everything he does.
And so he's talking to her. She's like, hey, hey, James. He's like, gotta go, gotta get information, gotta go. And he's speaking just real choppy because he's drugged out of his mind, except he's still like super raring to go. Effect of the time travel, who knows?
Well, they drugged him.
Yeah, they put enough tranquilizers to take out a horse. They said because
that's why he's drooling like that. But I think the reason that he gets in trouble with the cops is because you do get disoriented when you time travel.
Yeah,
and you're naked when you come through.
Everything to catch up.
That doesn't help.
And remember, they don't know. Like when they send him back, they don't know how society works. Just like in Terminator, when Reese went back and he was naked and everything, none of them know how it worked prior to the fall. So
I know he was like 8 or he was a young kid during this time.
Well, if you remember the plot, like the world collapsed when he was 9 years old.
Yeah, but there are people who are obviously older than him who are in the science, the scientists.
Yeah, all of the scientists are much older than him.
They don't care. I mean,
you mean
you
can't walk down the street naked, acting crazy?
He's not being sent back to gather this information. He's being sent back to fulfill the timeline.
Yeah,
that's a theory. I'm not sure. That's where I would disagree. I'm not sure.
And to me, this is where the film kind of fell apart a little bit. Is that I can remember all kinds of stuff from when I was 8. So, and he does. He there's things that he talks about. So, why their society acts like, okay, they can say they don't really know what happened, but like they should know how stuff works, like money and.
I also want to remember. I also want to keep this in mind that these scientists are sending him back in time. Even they really don't know how their time travel works because they send him
all over the place.
We see other time travelers, right, who are perfectly sane. So they're doing this to him on purpose.
Are they perfectly sane though? That's
when John Stevens character comes back, he's perfectly rational.
Maybe they refined it a little bit.
So and he gets sent back. And the key to me that indicated that he was being sent back for the timeline was the World War I thing. He was precisely sent to a moment of World War I that Madeline still saw in a photo. That was, in other words, there's a lot of like determinism in this, and it makes sense that when you see the whole sequence, like maybe even they got some of what occurred out of his little childhood memory. They're like,
Bruce Butt.
It's not too much Bruce Butt there.
Here's the other problem I had is like, what kind of facility is this to where?
Yeah, this facility.
It looks like it's 200 years old.
It's an abandoned prison he filmed in.
Well, you get a lot of, I think, representation in this. It's a dying world, and I think that's what this is trying to show you.
Well, also, like to be quite honest,
they don't know it's dying.
Well, to be quite honest, a lot of mental institutions, like even into like the 60s, 70s, maybe even some like 80s and 90s, were old prisons. That's what they would house a lot of these mental patients in. And
I know, they all suck.
They do. And most of them were not very well kept because they treated a lot of the patients like you would a prisoner. So yeah.
And going back to the thing about Bruce Willis' character, if you go back in time and you're existing at the same time you are in as a person,
yes.
And Dr. Who, they call it what? Temporal stress. The two doctors being together at the same time, two incarnations. So, just simply being alive at the same time you're alive as a kid may not be good for you either.
It's crossing your own timeline.
There's a whole from a
seeing your
physics
past
point
self.
of view, though, like he was always in that time frame, the way the timeline worked out. So I mean,
and that's one theory. Well, I think that there's another theory to like with that.
I'm talking real world physics, like right now.
Okay.
Like not even so much a theory, but like time travel. So I'll put it this way: time travel to the universe is an energy state, right? So if you go back in time per se, like you travel faster than the speed of light, you're not. You encounter the specter of Roman Willis ass, and it drives you back to the future. But like
no,
the universe only cares about the energy states being whole. It doesn't care about where you are in time, so to speak, right? From the physics point of view, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Like so, like the thing that
don't confuse everyone.
No. So when you bring up the multiple crossing your timeline thing, that's a very Doctor Who thing where there are multiple dimensions of time that cause that, like to go into the fandom of it there. So, but Gilliam is British, right?
We lost somebody.
Did we lose Jacob?
Josh.
No,
we lost Josh.
Josh had said his internet was pretty fucked.
And Gilliam,
this may be a result.
He left because you said you weren't going to watch Saltburn.
Yeah. No, Gilliam doesn't care like about explanations other than as they serve what he's presenting. I mean, how time travel works in Time Bandits? There's a map, and you go places, the holes just open up. You know what I mean? It's like and evil is a rock that can blow you up if you touch it. So,
all right, here's oops. Sorry. Josh, are you with us, Josh?
I'm here. I'm alive. I'm sorry.
Did you get sucked through a hole in time? Are you okay?
I got sucked through a wormhole.
Yeah. Wormhole. Yeah.
Damn it, Mando.
I said worm, not warm. Worm.
Yeah, no one is buying that shit. So
veg.
When Roman Bruce Willis ass appeared on screen, that caused a protective mechanism of Josh to knock him off.
So we meet Brad Pitt Brad Pitt's character, Jeffrey Goings here, he's batshit crazy. So Brad Pitt, he had a really small salary going into this. This was prior to Vampire Chronicles. This was just after Vampire Chronicles, Legends of the Fall, and Seven was like the same time. Seven was also a 1995 thing. So
what's in the
these
box?
are all just kind of churning around at this point.
Pain.
Seven was like I didn't see Seven when it came out, but because I was impressed by Brad Pitt, and then I went to see Seven and discovered Kevin Spacey, obviously.
I love Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, but Seven again, Brad Pitt has a habit of doing early films that are boring as fuck. Pardon the expression, but they are.
Then he didn't.
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned Anthony Hopkins before, Legends of the Boar. Go watch him. He does a much better movie with Anthony Hopkins called Meet Joe Black.
Oh yeah, Meet Joe Black.
I've never seen that. I know he's deaf in that, but I've never seen it. So he's getting Jeffrey to show him around here. What I thought it was a funny scene though. He's like, "How much are you gonna give me for it? How much are you gonna give me for it? I'd be doing your job then. How much are you gonna give me? $5,000, Jeffrey." So and Goings, he's crazy, but he sees things. You know, the games are basically a way to occupied. You know, they're sedative of their own. He keeps yelling at this lady to get out of his chair. Puzzles, games that want to get out. Know your meds, know your doses. It's elementary. Wait, what? That's not that's not nice.
In honor of 12 Monkeys, I'm gonna wrap myself in recycled plastic. There we go.
So basically, Jeffrey's talking about the TV schedule now and getting a little out of hand. Bruce Willis tells him he needs to use the phone. He's like, dude, only the doctors can use the phone.
Well, he does drop a hint when he's talking about the TV. He said there's a guy that used to tell the lady at the front that he wanted to see a show, but the show had already been on. Like, so the guy was out of time. Like he was, yeah.
There's some references to people that are out of time. Yeah.
Yes.
Healthcare.
I love
knowledge. The tie would not be allowed.
Oh no, fuck no. Yeah, but most of their attire wouldn't be. Jeffrey's shoes wouldn't be fucking allowed.
Right.
This is LJ will be in tuxedos hanging around.
So
this is LJ Washington.
What about bunny feet, bunny shoes, bunny slippers?
One of my questions throughout this whole film, so I get like most of the people in the early 90s, like wherever he shows up, are like, I think this dude is crazy. Why did no one ask about his tattoos? Like, where did you get that tattoo that is on the side of your neck? Where did you get the tattoo that is on the side of your head? Why are there numbers and letters? What is this? Like, that would be my first question of like, oh, this is how I can say where I'm not from here. See these tattoos and all of this stuff? Like,
didn't anybody want to bar scan the guy? Just like click and see what happened?
Right?
I would, yeah. I don't know what it would come up with.
It's just a bunch of ones and zeros or whatever, so, and numbers. Unless you have the corresponding data for it, I don't think. Unless it turned it into like a word, like it said, like, you know, something state prison or something. Yeah.
So,
that was just my thought process through this whole thing. I was like, why did no one ask about where he got his tattoos from?
Well, tattoos.
I don't even know. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say tattoos in the '90s were viewed way differently than they're viewed now. Like I remember conversations about like, don't get tattoos because you're a bad guy if you do.
Like, yeah, totally.
So I think people were just like afraid of it.
I just remember. Tattoos in like the late '80s, early '90s because of the AIDS scare. They're like, oh my god, tattoos. Oh, with needles and everything. Blah 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 blah. I just remember really bad tattoos that I still see walking around today, and those are those tribal tattoos.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're still a thing.
They got real big, and I remember like the mid '90s. Yep.
I got a discount on my tattoo because the guy behind me wanted his tribal worked on, and the guy hated doing tribals, so he said, "I'll discount you if you let me slow down a little bit." I said, sure, go for it, buddy.
Go for it.
It comes up later in the film when Madeline Stowe's character talks to the Riddler about psychiatrists defining reality.
That's right. The Riddler's in this,
which is a theme of this movie, by the way, about some criticism of psychiatry and all that. But the way they would have interpreted his tattoos is he's fulfilling his time travel delusion with these fake tattoos. That would have been like because remember they can't. I mean, okay, let's be semi-real.
Created this whole thing for himself.
We talk about it as a hobby or as a right, but if someone walked into your door and said, "I'm a time traveler from the future after a bunch of monkeys killed the planet," right? Like how many of us would really, really, really think the guy's not crazy? It's like,
and we wouldn't ask him, "Oh, where did you get those tattoos? Are they from the future?" And how?
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about his tattoos at that moment. Like, why is this fucking weirdo at my door?
I guess I'm like more open-minded because like I honestly like if somebody's like they say they're from the future and I'd ask for proof. Like I wouldn't immediately just outright dismiss. I don't know. That's just me though. I feel like I'm
probably one of the few people.
I think I was gonna say I think the majority reaction is to think the guy's fucking batshit. That's like if you hear alien invasion, okay, good hoax.
Well, they do.
There's a wolf man wandering around my neighborhood. Any of those things, any of the supernatural things that we love to talk about. My first instinct is
zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse, also known as the summer of love.
Well, it's going to come back. Don't worry. You'll get to see the sequel this year. So I love L.J. Washington. This is one of my favorite parts. It's a condition of mental divergence. I find myself on the planet Ogo, part of the intellectual elite, preparing to subjugate the barbarian hordes on Pluto. And he just goes on, and he knows he's crazy. He's like, I know this is a completely manufactured thing. And as soon as I stop going there, I'll be well. Are you also mentally divergent, my friend? And then we see this. And that's where the camera goes, is to his fucking bunny slippers. It's hilarious. That's good quality comedy.
Yes.
This is the only room that looks fucking remotely clean in this entire hospital.
This whole hospital looks like the gulag in Modern Warfare or COD or whatever.
It does.
Where you go if you die and you get to fight other people to get out of there.
Just the windows are see, these windows aren't blown out. That's the difference.
Well, there's a big like Terry Gilliam. It's common in his movies that how mental people are mistreated by like a lot of stuff.
There's also just a lot of weird decay and stuff in his films too. It's like the worlds are dying in his universes.
Like what's this guy? Was he wearing galoshes? What's he wearing?
Yep. Well, he hosed the guy down too. So
right, okay.
No, that's the hose down guy. That's the handler. That's the hose down guy.
That's the butt man.
But this is where Bruce explains to them that because they keep asking him, are you from the future? And he's like, no, I'm from the present. This is the past. He's had to explain how. And then it's 1990. I'm supposed to be in 1996. Is that the present? No, that's also the past. So you're getting these layers of dimension of time, of timelines. The present is 2035.
It's teaching us as the viewers how we need to perceive this film, kind of. We have to set ourselves in the present of the future, if that makes sense.
Here's the problem. None of these doctors on this panel have seen Terminator, which has already been out in this time.
Right.
If they would have understood what was going on. They'd be like, oh, you're just like Reese. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
There's Frank Goshen. So the Riddler for those
they got
Batman
shortbread
fans.
Cookies on the table.
They have a lot of cookies on the table, and he smokes throughout the entire film, which I think is hilarious.
That's the one that's always like the landmine. You open it up, it's going to be cookies or it's going to be sewing equipment.
Anyone remember those butter cookies? We used to get those all the time as gifts back in the day. Those Danish farm.
Oh, I remember.
Cookies. Yeah,
they're delicious. So right now he drew a picture of the basically the 12 monkeys symbol. He's asking, "Have you seen this? Have you seen this?" And then he's like, "Oh, it's 1990. They haven't been active yet." And he keeps saying he wants to make a phone call, and he'll take care of it with a phone call. Well, who are you going to talk to, James? The scientists. They monitor. They monitor a what do we call those things? Voicemail.
Yeah, voicemail.
from the past. I don't listen to voicemail, by the way. If anyone ever calls me, don't fucking leave a voicemail. I can see that you fucking called me. Don't leave a fucking voicemail. I love my pop, but he does that every fucking time. Hey, Rome, it's your pop. I'm going to talk for at least 5 minutes. Pop, I'm just going to call you back. I'm not going to listen to it. If you're watching the show right now, please stop leaving voicemails. So he's like, I just need to make the fucking phone call. And so Catherine lets him. And he calls and he gets this shit show, which is also Baltimore. This is totally Baltimore. This is Baltimore in every fucking regard. It's complete chaos. She's like, scientists, there ain't no scientists around here. Stop that.
When I rewatched this scene like the other day, I was like, why'd it remind me of the Oracle from The Matrix?
Yeah.
The same dummy apartment she was in.
So it's pretty what?
It's
a disaster. Everything in this room screams disaster. It actually, my OCD goes off the fucking rails through most of this movie because I get the Ghiblies by certain things in the scenes. This scene, the kids bashing fucking crisps on the table. You got the kids just throwing cans out of the fucking cupboard.
This room is actually pretty clean for having that many kids.
Now, Ghiblies is that a technical term?
It is. If you ever watch Strong Bad, Homestar Runner, it was a popular YouTube thing, a very long time ago. But he's describing he's got I forget, there's some kind of talking painting in his closet, and he gives him the Ghiblies. The Ghiblies is when all your skin rises up and all that stuff. So I guess it's a technical term.
Is this the one where
oh my god! I just go back. I just noticed something.
What
I have to rewatch this. Look at all the stuffed tigers on the top shelf. There's at least 2 of them. Look on the left side. Left side. I have to go back and look at that apartment now and see if there's more of those stuffed tigers. Like, was that a thing he did? Wow.
Oh, Gilliam?
Yeah. There's a tiger sticker in the drawer there.
No, Josh. That's not kind.
So he doesn't say it. He just types it like an Easter egg for you to find later.
Right?
It's fucking horrible. I like this though because as soon as he gets off, she's like, "It's not who you expected." He's like, "No, it's just some lady." But then he puts it together again though. It's too early. He's still trying to line up where he fucking is on the timeline. I mean, they're not active yet.
He thinks it's too early, but he's obviously sent back to plant the concept of the 12 monkeys. So
yeah, we get the flashback.
That is a through line in the movie where people haven't heard of anything about anything or thought about anything until he brings it up, talking to him, and then that drives what actually happens. Like, you'll see later. Also, this is kind of weird. Like this is
very bizarre.
See, I think to jump to the end, I think he figures out part of the answer, like when he gives that final call. Like he realized the 12 monkeys thing was something that was fake, but doesn't realize that he was sent back to plant the idea to fulfill the timeline. So they say, okay, now we got him. Let's send John Cena's character back, to get him to do the final part of the timeline fulfillment, triggering the proper way.
I don't know if that's the case or not, Matt. And that's just, because it is a very subjective thing. I think the timeline gets fulfilled, but I don't necessarily think they did it intentionally. I don't think the future has their shit that much together.
Remember the final comment by the woman from the future is, "I'm
that's insurance policy."
This entire thing was a big insurance scam. So a few elites can become super rich.
Yep.
See, I interpreted that as something else. Okay.
I mean, I think we saw that maybe in the modern times as well. I mean, something recent, if my memory serves me right. I don't know.
Just saying.
So now we're getting Jeffrey kind of going off the rails again. He's talking about germs and, how germs didn't exist before the 1800s. And basically the reason he's in here because he went crazy on some guy because they dropped his hamburger and he put it back on the bun and wiped it off like nothing happened. He's like, what about the germs? I don't believe in germs. Then he starts bouncing off the beds, says his father is God. He's going to put him in one of those fancy places once they figure out where he is. Brad Pitt's dialogue just rolls so fucking fast. He's like a freight train of delivery. And you get like these 2 paragraphs in a 30-second period with all this information in it, and it's insane.
That was a beautiful way of describing this. A freight train of that was good, Roman. That was very well done.
Also, the thing about his
that's it for tonight, folks. Thank you for being with us. No, I
the thing about his character is he's wearing a contact or something in one of his eyes.
They painted it. It's a hand painted contact, so his fucking eye is cockeyed.
Right, so it's cockeyed because I was like, if he can do that on his own, he's an amazing. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, and then this is something. And this is because a lot of folks view Brad Pitt as just a face or just a hunk. Brad Pitt is an amazing actor. Amazing actor.
One of the things they did to get him to act the way he did, because
watch this show.
Gilliam took away his cigarettes because they weren't sure he could deliver the lines right. So he ended up getting all fucking tweaky because he was off.
Yes.
It's an addiction.
It's just
he might have been off some other products he is known to do for us.
You take away a smoker's cigarettes for any amount of time, we get irritable very fast.
Mm-hmm. He looks like a monkey here.
I think that's where the idea came from. I don't remember. That poor spider, man.
I know. Bruce he's trying to gather samples. He's just so used to this in his head, but he doesn't know what to do with it, so he eats it. This is where he's saying you're thinking about escape, right? That's perfectly natural. It's perfectly natural. And he's like, yeah, and he's trying, and then that's when Brad Pitt talks about his father being a very important man. And then Jeffrey starts going batshit. There's part of his butt. Sorry about that. It's like a side butt. Hopefully I don't get hit for that. You get hit for side butt. You can see some crack, but you couldn't see like his parts.
We'll find out.
I guess we'll find out. So he bouncing. This was a funny. He's like, I'm supposed to act out, you idiots. I'm a mental patient.
I like how he realizes, yes, I have mental issues, and I'm going like he has that self-awareness to be like, yeah, something's wrong, but I'm just gonna still do me.
And I know this is it's a trope. It's not really that outside. It's not any outside the box thinking, but they're used well. I love the Dutch angles in this film. As things get crazier, the world gets unbalanced, and even the music in some places where somebody's either extra crazy or later on when he's drugged, the music just goes crazy and does things that you would never expect music to do.
Okay, now that you mentioned the music, that recurring theme, just like that little organ grinder from hell. It's just enough creepiness to where you're a little unsettled.
That's an accordion, isn't it?
It's an accordion, yeah. It's just very unnerving that bum 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 bum.
So I might have miscounted, but I feel like there are 12 beds in this scene, and that's maybe where he got the idea for the 12 monkeys.
Let's see here. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 monkeys in this scene. Interesting. Nice job, Zim.
And you mentioned music. The guy who did the music on this, I don't remember his name, had something to do with David Bowie's film work on music. I remember that much.
So this scene that they're showing you, it's supposed they're talking about how all these animals are getting injured in cosmetic whatever bullshit stuff. But this actual cut is from the Andromeda strain. They used a still from the Andromeda strain for this. It's a monkey dying from the Andromeda strain, which is a great movie.
That's
not a fast mover.
That's a good movie. That's a good.
Yeah,
what
you really got
to
be patient with that.
Are they trying to keep these people insane?
Oh, I know. Yeah, everything they show them on the television is fucking wackadoo in here.
Yeah.
I'll say the Andromeda Strain is probably the best book adaptation of anything ever done.
It smells like. Wait, what? Fuck off!
It smells like
Hi,
breadsticks.
Steve.
Well,
It's good to see you, Steve. I haven't seen you in a long time. I was worried about you. I was worried you got sucked into the Wheel of Time.
He's recovered from mental damage from the Wheel of Time. So
that's breadsticks you smell. Fuck off, Joker. Fuck off, Joker.
And like I said about mental health like facilities and stuff like that, there were times probably late 1800s, early 1900s, where people like were maybe falsely accused of some sort of mental thing, and they would go into these mental facilities. They would go in actually sane and then come back out insane. So like that is a thing that does happen.
Cuckoo's Nest.
Well, they had abominable practices, but I mean, they're all like back in the 1800s.
Electroshock therapy.
But before even that, they would drill holes in your head.
Nowadays it's so much better. I mean, you go in there with a little bit of confusion about, like your sexual gender, and you come out and you're completely fine, right? Yeah.
I mean, ECT for all of its abuses can be used therapeutically in certain circumstances. Drilling a hole in your head to let the evil spirits out, which is like the 1800s or whatever, or giving you like mercury to partially poison you. I mean, I used to read all sorts of weird, like read horror novels of the 1800s, and you'll read all about it,
Well, I'm sure somewhere like maybe 30, 40, 50 years down the road, they'll be like, you did what to people with cancer? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have this completely different.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Let's just say,
it's like when you watch Star Trek.
Let's just say the people at Arkham Asylum, they got some karma coming for them. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So in this scene, we get Bruce Willis. He's writing a note to the doctor, Catherine. You don't know that at the time, but that's what he's doing. But he explains everything to Brad Pitt. He tells him what's going on in the future in this scene. Copa. Here's the thing. Oops, did it go up? I want to go up. What am I doing? Am I doing something wrong?
Buttons are hard.
There are pills for
that.
that
Now I can't do anything. Have I lost control of my own powers?
Your internet is protecting us from Copa's.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
That's weird.
Great power comes great responsibility.
So I don't generally watch French film because I don't prefer the French people. It's a full on.
I like the food.
I don't like them. I don't like. I don't like the food either. Although duck confit is good. That's maybe the one. I don't. No, they're not good.
French fries are great.
They're not, but it's a
freedom
silly
fries.
Freedom fries, mister.
But French fries are actually from Belgium.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Free. So now we also keep seeing this ad for Florida. Come to the Florida Keys. The music in the background. That's me and Shield Wall hanging out after a hard day's work.
No, Roman, that was you and Brad at my bar when you came in.
I believe that. I believe that. So now he's all drugged up and monkey business. So this Brad Pitts comes in. He's like, "Oh man, Jim, they got you all fucked up." And he's like, monkey. So he's got the key to the fucking door. And this goes out of control really fast. He's trying to distract the guards.
But he, from the guard's perspective, this is out of control. But Brad is timing this entire thing.
Exactly.
It's giving him the cues like, and here we go. And
he's got a very specific kind of intentional crazy
cadence. Yes.
And that old guy jumps up and he's like, "I'm insured."
Jeffrey, stop acting the fool. And Bruce is just trying to get out of there, but everything's all fucking blur. Space monkey. That's right. Yes. This is great. Then he gets in, he gets out. This guy is just like, use the other elevator.
Yeah, that guy's employee of the
he doesn't give a fuck.
Then this guy is
like employees.
this guy on the stilts. I was like, wait, so they can afford to hire this guy to change light bulbs or whatever he's doing, but they can't paint this place?
He's like the one maintenance guy for the entire building.
Probably.
I'll get to it eventually.
This checklist is really long.
Yeah.
So also, isn't this guy the
bad boy? Yeah,
he's not there though. He's not there.
Not there.
Yeah, it's
he's
an
hallucination.
Yeah.
Okay, and that front page is like a famous front page from like the
Weekly World News.
Enquirer.
Or something. Batchild.
Weekly World News.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. We used to buy these in high school. That was like one of our things for entertainment was the Weekly World News. The famous pig people of Paraguay actually were in there as well.
And it also had
so
like
this
the
is
chupacabra in it. When
they had all kinds of that
during
stuff.
this time.
So
During this time, it was big.
I had Bigfoot's baby.
Congratulations!
Wait, yes, cannoli. Where are you?
Somebody just clipped that just by itself.
Yeah, I had Bigfoot's baby.
What she says? I had Bigfoot's baby.
Okay,
so Doctor What's His Fuck is reading off the note here, though.
Right,
you live in a beautiful world. You have beautiful air.
And this just reminds me of every doctor or psychiatric, the doctors. There is this guy in every single the overly smug, likes Madeline. Obviously, for some reason, is like, hey, why don't you come over and we can compare notes and kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he's missing? He's missing the little leather patches on his elbows. On his
Yep.
I think everybody is crazy in this movie.
I agree.
The doctor.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
and then Madeline gets there later on.
Panel.
I love when Madeline gets goes complete batshit crazy later on.
This was the other thing, right?
Here's another thing. Like you would not be anywhere near that thing with a stethoscope.
No.
Right?
Well, not only that, they have this multi-million-dollar piece of equipment in this crap hole building.
Yeah.
It almost, is an allusion to later on when we see how they send him through time.
Yeah.
Being fed into a tunnel like that.
Right.
It looks almost identical.
Yeah. In this, when he's in here, we see a lot of that overlap. Even back when he was sitting in front of the doctors, it was like when he was sitting in front of the scientists.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch in this mental institution that is back like his home where he came from. Yeah.
Well, it also feeds into one of the theories that in actuality he did make this whole thing up, and he is actually in the mental institution is his actual reality. Like where in the end he finally kind of believes it, and then she leads him out of it. It's one of those a prevailing theory that he did make a lot of it up.
Or it was a big insurance scam.
Well, I think it's an insurance to have the rulers of the future world have the world they want. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then why send him back to try and quote unquote find clues if they already knew what was going to happen?
Well, they knew they sent him back because they had to, because they're probably ordered to.
But they didn't have to fill the timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, think of the Terminator movie. Why did Reese have to go back? It had to be Reese. Why did it have to be Reese?
Because Kyle Reese is John Connor's dad. That's why.
I enjoyed this
I
part
met him
as well.
at Tokyo Comic Con
until the fourth movie,
Michael
and then
Biehn?
none of that really matters anymore.
Cool.
So
and the Space Marines as well.
Oh, nice.
Vasquez and
oh wow,
really cool people.
That's cool.
Oh
yeah,
really
that's
right. I saw that tweet. Yeah. Drake. He played Drake.
Yeah, I had to help Vasquez get attacking to Tokyo Station. That was cool.
Nice. And Vasquez is the foster mom in TDD2.
Oh yeah, they get
which is crazy. I didn't realize that for fucking until this year. I had
because
no
she's
idea.
not Hispanic. Yeah, because
she's Jewish, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
That's really good, James.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm in my own.
Now we're checking you out while you're doing your thing.
Oh, I'm just like
hey.
you guys.
In a non-sexual way, or maybe slightly sexual, not overly sexual though.
Oh,
That's,
Wait. I hear something in the background. The mother dick? Mother dick.
It's not the Roman chicken.
Well,
It's
like,
the Roman
also,
chicken.
like,
I didn't know they had those chickens out there in Vegas.
Yes,
So
I think
they're
the
everywhere.
thing for me is like they specifically sent him back to try and like the whole point is to find the virus in its purest form so they can come up with a cure.
cure it in.
That's what. Okay,
They don't
that's
wanna
what they
cure
tell
it.
him.
Yeah,
what
I
they
think it's
tell him.
manipulation.
Yeah.
Right.
I
That's
see.
what they
They wanna
tell him.
control it.
I actually take it at face value that he's there to do what they told him to do.
I do too, because like I think like while he's coming back to the
Okay.
quote unquote present, like they're updating things on their wall of clues to where like in live time.
Okay, this is what the elites are telling him. So in his mind, he's doing a noble thing to try and save humanity. The elites want nothing to do with that. They are going to make sure that the timeline stays correct, and 5 billion people die because
I don't think
now.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think he could fix it though. I don't know. It's
he
that
never
whole
could.
time travel thing is very confusing.
He never could because he planted the concept of the 12 monkeys and set it in motion in men.
Right.
Someone else might have been who wasn't tied into the past events though.
Here's another thing they don't ever explain is so he
how
just
they pull him back?
disappears. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it
he's
on
in
a
the cell.
timer? Is it on a timer,
And then-
or can they do it?
I don't
like,
think
on
he's
a
on timer.
timer.
I think they recall him.
Ding, he's done.
I think they have to recall him because towards the end of the movie it talks about his teeth and they needed to know where he was because of the teeth.
Right. They
pulled
track
back.
him through his teeth implants. Okay.
Right.
So I guess
But
they
I-
figured he was locked in this room and never going to get out, so I might as well get him out of there.
Well, he wasn't communicating with them through the voicemails, so they pulled him out.
But Matt, so that's one of the things that I get. Well, there's a lot of things that are confusing in the time travel though, because I mean, as soon as he goes back in time, I mean, they're going to get the message. Whatever, right? Because technically he's already been back in time, so they should already have the message.
But
Right.
they already
That's
know-
my
see,
thought.
But they're sending. So that's again, if you go with that, they're sending him back to fulfill his timeline, not because they're not doing anything. So he's there just long enough to plant this 12 monkeys thing. You know, right?
Yeah.
So,
They don't
Because
want to
every time he disappears, it's right after an opportune moment to kind of prove a point that he is from the future. Like it's all just too precise.
Yeah. And even when he goes back to World War I, he's there just long enough for that picture to go off. You know.
I don't know. Like for me, I feel like his visions are actually the different timelines he remembers because like some of the faces change depending on like his flashbacks.
Right. Like in that one, it's Brad Pitt's character
Right.
that turns around and is the one that is he the one carrying the case, or is he the one
He's carrying the case.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. The guy
And
that gets
he keeps
shot, you
hearing-
never see who's their
Not
face.
until
Right.
later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps hearing this voice, and you don't know if it's in his head or if it's other. I always assumed it was in his head.
Well, even the guy who that voice in his head says he's very arbitrary as well. It's like I could be real, I could be, you know,
Yes.
in the
I could
next
be in the
cell,
cell,
I could
yeah.
just be in your head. You know, it's
But he always has. But the
Yeah, but you-
conversation is worthwhile. He's like, because he's like, you need to tell them what they need to hear, Bob.
I like this scene because it had that weird like air vent respirator thing on the wall. It's just
Mhm.
like pumping
This thing.
air in there. Yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
rubber.
because it's all recycled air
Yeah.
down there.
For those of you who read The Wheel of Time, the way the voice in his head talks to Cole here is much how I would imagine the voice of Lou Theron talks to Ray.
yeah. And I just got finished with that series. Very good.
Yeah. So
So they're
The
playing
other
it
thing that
for him now, but it doesn't make any sense to him. It talks about the army of the 12 monkeys, and
Yeah, it's very
I don't
garbled.
know
This
if
is
this-
spliced together, one word at a time, reconstruction of the voicemail that they were
and they're
monitoring.
like, "Did you leave this, James?" And he's like, "No, I did not." And he doesn't understand it at the time. It doesn't make any sense to him. I love, and here we get some of that amazing, machine
Oh, great.
work. We have no idea what the fuck
Mhm.
it does.
Beard has that in his bathroom, probably.
And the scientists are kind of pissed off because he tells them, he's like, you sent me back to the wrong time. And they're all like, what the fuck? He's like, what did you do with your time? Drugs, women? Like,
well, it also
no.
goes to show this isn't an exact science. Like they were I took it as they were genuinely surprised they sent him in the wrong time.
Right. He was supposed to go to 96 and he went to 1990.
But if they had intended for him to go to 96 the whole time, how does that play into their plot of them putting him in the timeline to put all these ideas in this dude's head?
Well, they would have had to go back before that to do it.
I just see them as an allegory for government, and they have no idea what they're doing, and they're just fucking up everything as they go along.
No, I would say he has to go to 1990 because they have a series of events recorded about this 12 monkey that started from when this dude was in the asylum.
No, he doesn't start actually doing anything until a few years later. Like whenever he shows them the notepad, he's like, "Oh, that's right, I'm a few years too late," because they don't start becoming active till 96.
Coins Jr. says he got the idea from 12 monkeys from 1990.
Right, he got the idea in the mental institution, is where he got it from.
But did he actually get it from Cole though? Because
he says it.
Yes, he says so.
He says, he does.
He says a lot of things though, so you can't take what he says at face value because he's fucking nuts.
Well, the other thing,
and also like the monkeys were kind of like it was on TV, so like he could have, I don't know.
See, what I thought was funny here is that, do you want another chance to go back, Cole? Because they act like he fucked up when they fucked up.
Yeah,
but that's also like government. Don't fuck it up again, Cole. He's like, dude, fucking time.
Again,
this
is manipulation 101.
Yeah.
Yes. Gaslighting.
Yep.
So
completely.
Really, they they sent him back to 1990 on purpose. They sent him back to World War I on purpose. This is all planned.
See, I don't think it is. I don't think it's planned.
I'm with Roman.
It is
I think they fucked up. I think.
Why are there alligator clips on the nerves in his head? Like, why are they pumping current through his head?
Oh, why wouldn't they?
Why
is there something on his junk?
What is on his junk? Is that like a zip line or something? It like rips it off of there?
No, that's a catheter.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I liked it better when I did.
I've had enough of them from surgeries to know what they are at a glance.
I liked it better the other way. So here we get the time tunnel. We have no idea, or as
how the mechanics work.
Mando would say the warm hole.
The wormhole.
It kind of reminded me of like the particle accelerator inspired time machine from that Denzel Washington film. I forget what it's where they could only see like 7 days previous, but it kind of reminds me of that.
Deja vu.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a.
So I was kind of thinking particle accelerator inspired.
So there's a scientist named Paul Dirac who came up with a concept of time travel that was in some pretty interesting sci-fi. I'm not going to go crazy about this, but the idea is, and this is real physics, that when subatomic particles arise, they come from an energy state that they always return to, right? So the theory of time travel was that you could force the person into the past only so long as you maintain the energy holding them there, and then when you turned it off, they would just come back. They would cease to exist in the past, and this energy would go back to where it was.
That's interesting.
Right? So that's what this kind of reminded me of, like when I was thinking about that. If I could ever find, it was a really great short story or novel that was in. But anyway, that's my point. So,
and if you ever get a chance to listen to his interviews, they're great.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I've heard of Dirac.
Oh no, I was speaking to everybody in general.
Yeah.
So I wonder when he comes back, because they have to put him in the little tubey thingy and squeeze him like toothpaste and to put him into the time tube. When he comes back, I wonder where he materializes. Back in the time tube, back to where he was?
Maybe in that tube, and they just pull him out of there.
Where they want.
Like if it's a direct time travel, he would just reappear where the energy pushed him out of.
So now we're back in World War I, which everybody, we all recognize immediately. He has no fucking idea where he is.
And he's naked on a battlefield,
which makes
wire
I think, that makes sense though. That's it's although if only your body can travel, this brings up other kind of oddball stuff. what if you have fillings? What if you have, like a screw in your joint, in your hip or something? You have metal parts in your body. What would happen to that?
It's Terminator rules. You have to be surrounded by flesh.
But
all right.
Well,
I don't know.
Right? I know it's weird. No, but but if he has to travel naked because clothes won't go, then what about if he had other in his body? He had braces when he was a kid,
or he's being sent naked because they want to make it worse for him. Remember, he's naked in the picture they take, so he has to be naked when they send him back.
Or it's an energy limitation thing. Everything that they send requires an immense amount of energy, so send as few things as possible.
Yeah.
I agree there. Like,
that's or it's all part of the plan.
But here's the other thing: if these guys are all wearing masks, maybe it's just as a
World War One.
Yeah, World War One.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's totally screwed. Oh, and here's
Jose is there.
Yeah, that was the guy that was in the very beginning. It was in the
but they mentioned though that Jose was okay with gas after this. Like he was in the hospital, he was immune to the effects of the gas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just on that point.
So I get shot in the leg.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens there. So he obviously shifts between timelines. He goes from 1917, whatever, to 1996. We don't really see, you know what though? I don't care. That's one of the nice things is they just kind of throw the thing out there and let you come. That's why we're able to have such conversations about the subjectivity of the film, is because they don't feel the need, and I like that. They don't try to fucking explain every goddamn nuance to you. And I appreciate that as a movie watcher. I like that we can have these open conversations because we have no fucking idea. These are the theories that we have.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam never
what's going
explains.
on.
He just shows.
It's great. It's a lot more fun for the viewer this way, as opposed to, well, this is how it works. Dicka. It's just kind of there. It happened. You know as much about it as the people participating. We know as much as Bruce Willis does, or as much as Madeline Stowe. We know as much as the characters do. We have as much understanding of their worlds as they do, which isn't very much. It's basically what you can see is reality.
We don't need to know about metachlorians or anything.
So now we're in the proper year. Still Baltimore, still a shithole. And Catherine Rayleigh is giving a speech on.
I was 4 years old.
Shut up, Mando. The Cassandra is it the Cassandra syndrome, something like that?
Yes.
Because she's talking about people from the past who have appeared about dire messages of plagues and disease, and I love this guy. We get a look at this guy right now, and we're like, okay, whatever. And then later on in the movie,
we see him in Baltimore. Or Philadelphia, right?
Right. They're saying this guy just appeared out of nowhere and started saying in 600 years there would be a plague that wiped out humanity.
Yes. And this is back in the middle in during the Black Plague, or right around that time.
And then
so he's a time traveler then.
And then she talks about a guy in World War One. Gee,
Jose,
that guy.
Who had the same messages. He didn't speak any French, but spoke fluent English with an odd accent. All this stuff. And then we get this great view of the audience. We see the Riddler, a bunch of random people.
The Riddler.
And then this motherfucker. The
Riddler is probably a time traveler too.
Isn't that the guy from Last Mohicans?
No, it's not.
Yes,
it is or it's not.
Well, if you're an older person, you would know him as from St. Elsewhere.
He's been in a million things. He was also in The Rock. He played the general.
Rock, but he was not in Last of the Mohicans. That was a different.
Yeah, that's a different guy. Yeah.
Okay.
He was in the Negotiator. He played the jerk lieutenant in the Negotiator. That's Kevin Spacey and Samuel Jackson movie.
He was in The Rock.
He was in the John Adams miniseries from.
He played George Washington. Yeah, he played George Washington in that series. That's a great series, by the way. If you've never seen it, I can watch it. So here she's talking about what the Cassandra, what is it, Cassandra complex or whatever the fuck it is. Basically, you know what the future is, but you have no ability to stop it or fix it. Which is one of those things about time travel that they talk about in this. It's that's why it's such a mind fuck. You can't change the past because it's already happened. But if you go back into the past and change the past, what happens? Can you not change it? You can change it. You have to be able to change it. What does that do? You create a paradox, I guess. I don't understand time travel. It hurts my head.
You create a
million different versions of it.
Timeline that you then have to get a device.
It's a bunch of timey-wimey stuff.
It's a bunch of hooey.
Well, and that's also why, like, part of me wonders.
Time travel. Just watch Loki. You'll be even more confused.
Oh no, fuck no.
Well, and this is also why I'm of the opinion that I don't think that the scientists really are in charge of anything, is because, like, if they are currently, or in their current timeline, sending people back to, like, the Middle Ages, talking about a plague, like,
oops. Yeah, they're fucking up. Mm-hmm. I don't think the fuck up again.
No, they are not. They're not because because the reason they sent these folks back to World War I is to explain her theory right here.
Yeah,
is to explain to her.
I think we're reading more into it than is necessarily there.
This is all pre-planned. This is all pre-planned.
You're forgetting the end.
Right.
Just remember the end.
Yep.
No, the end makes sense to me as well from the same perspective that I watched the movie. She is there. They sent her back to
because he succeeded. He figured it out who it was, and then that's why he left
there
that
to get them. Yeah,
she was there to pick up that the
right.
She
was there to get the. She was there to get the.
She was there to make sure the virus got out.
Yeah, exactly. She's insurance. She's the villain. This is a movie where the villain won. Yeah, this is a movie where the villain won.
The time
I don't accept that premise.
I don't either.
It sucks, but it's. I think that's.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that. You don't know that. You cannot make a definitive statement like that. You have
why
a
would
theory.
Why wouldn't you have stopped them on the inside of the?
So the time loop is that Bruce Willis goes back, plants a 12 Monkeys idea to the point where his child as a self sees him. Once his child self sees him and can't see him anymore, the timeline is open. So then they have to have Hart go back to make sure that he doesn't break it, because now he can break it. Once he's past that little time loop of him seeing himself, and Hart getting, she's like, okay, we have to make sure he doesn't break it, so the disease still happens.
Right.
I don't know.
They're evil.
I think that's more. I think that's just too much.
I mean, think about it.
I'm of that opinion.
It's a Terry Gilliam.
The rich people in the future.
All right, we got to get moving here because we have 45 minutes left of this movie, and we have way more than 45 minutes.
One thing, Roman, the people in the future, the doctors and stuff, they can go back in time to wherever they want. Have a vacation. Just go back in time for a little bit.
I think they can. I don't think they're that capable of it. I think if they're sending one of them back, they have to be real fucking sure where they're sending them. That's why I think they waited so long to send one of them back, because they didn't have. I mean,
or maybe they like where they're at.
But they didn't. They didn't send anyway. Yeah.
Okay, flip it on its head, Roman. Why, if you could send a completely rational genius scientist back in time to any point you want, would you send a person who's crazy to begin with?
Because they didn't have it. I think they got it down. I think using them as experiments, sending them back, was part of a process. Maybe the guy's going to get there and maybe he does what we want him to, but we need to refine our time travel process.
That's what I think. I think that they were using them to refine the process.
Okay, so let me just throw this in here. For Mando and Roman's theory to work, and for this chain of events to play out, there is so much dumb luck that has to come into play. It is too well conceived. This is all planned.
Or it's just the way things always were meant to be.
With dumb luck? That's a lot of luck.
Everything is dumb luck. Our entire life is dumb luck. How did you get to this point? A bunch of things had to happen for you to get here. It was always going to happen that way.
And yet yet, if you have the capability to control past chain of events,
Josh, I saw Josh. Wait, I saw Josh. There was a Josh sighting.
But these scientists who are actually insurance people and elites, they can now control the past events to ensure that they are exactly where they are, no matter what. It is like I think it was Ginger or it was Matt who said once he saw his past self, there's a gap in the timeline now.
Yeah,
they have to ensure that gap is always fixed, no matter what. So
hence the gun.
Oh, why they gave him the gun? Yeah, take this. He was really forceful about him taking that gun.
Which they gave him a Lamat revolver, of all things.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
So here he is kidnapping Catherine to take him to Philadelphia because he doesn't know anybody else. Basically, is why he's doing this.
One thing that the movie does, they allude to, but they don't really show or tell, is a bunch of time jumps. Like he's so dirty and so he might have been on the street for weeks, and until
we have no idea.
He went back, and then he finds her.
Yes.
And there are periods of time where there are people that are running around that you don't really know how long they've actually been there. Like they didn't just show up. So, so that plays into it too. So you have to always keep that in mind that these aren't like days apart or hours apart. Sometimes they're weeks or months later.
Yeah, he apologized to her about being so smelly as well. He's like, I'm sorry I smell so much.
Yeah, I've been sleeping on the street.
Yeah.
I'm sure I don't smell good.
Yeah.
And he gets excited here because she has a radio in the car and he wants to hear music. He remembers music, but they don't have it in the in 2035, I guess.
Well, why would you let the peons listen to music?
Well, we'll ask ourselves that question in probably about 4 years.
Yeah.
So he gets all weepy eyed too because I think this is it's either A Wonderful World or Blueberry Hill. They play both of those songs while the radio's on.
I think Blueberry
Look
Hill
at that though.
And then
that face.
Yeah, it's A Wonderful World second.
Yeah. Trees are green.
And it's just he's sticking his head out the window like a dog.
His reactions to all this right here, in my head, because I've only seen this once and haven't had time to really process everything, I was assuming that he's done multiple jumps since the last time we saw him, and he's getting a little bit crazier every single time. That it's slowly frying his brain, because he was more level-headed in the mental institution when he wasn't drugged out, and now he's acting like he's not heard music, but surely he's heard music someplace in the mental institution. And he's acting like he hasn't breathed fresh air, but he's breathing fresh air in all those other places. So I'm thinking he's just going a little bit more loopy as he gets sent through multiple times.
That's part of my theory of the person who speaks to him in his head is actually part of his broken psyche, that every time he travels, because he never started like hearing that voice until after he traveled. So I think it's just part of his psyche that got left behind somewhere, and then he picks it up whenever he goes back into the present or whatever.
I was wondering if that was a real hotel or if that's just an abandoned building that they've made into a hotel.
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's a real hotel.
Yeah.
Or they just threw a camel on a thing. I mean, either or. Yeah. I love the Terry Gilliam cartoon drops, the time tunnel. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
So there's also a sci-fi TV show that ran for one season called The Time Tunnel, which is underrated.
So here we are, flashbacks. Every time he goes to sleep, he has the same dream, which is a memory.
Also,
or at least a partial memory.
A lot of times when he's in therapy with the Madeline Stowe character, she's always said, I feel like I know you from somewhere. You seem familiar. Have we ever met? That kind of thing. She asked him that multiple times.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. She saw him in the book. She saw him in the book that she made.
Oh, but that's right. Yeah, she's seen him in that photo.
Right. Yeah, in the photo.
Yeah, but also I think it's a play on the eyes. The kid version of his eyes. They cast that kid specifically because of how he emoted with his eyes.
Yeah.
And your eyes you know, I think that's the one thing that doesn't change as you grow old or something.
You grow into your eyes, is what people say.
Correct. Yeah.
So he's at a vending machine. They're talking about her on the news. So when they get back in, this is kind of fun when they do this transition. It almost feels kind of normalish here, which is a little bit weird. It's almost like a buddy cop film at this point. They're riding. He's got all his notes there. Because he must have been there for a little bit because he's accumulated a fair amount of stuff. I don't really have a good shot of it, but he's got a whole book full of notes and papers and just shit.
And he
trying to put together
take
where
that
he's
back
supposed to be
with.
going.
Yeah, he can't take that back with him. So obviously, that shows that.
Right.
Yeah.
And a news story comes out about this kid who's stuck in a well. And he's like, yeah, don't cry, wolf. He's like, what are you talking about? And here we see the guy. This is great. This is the guy from the drawing from the Black Plague era.
Right.
I mean, that's just, I love that they did this.
Is he wearing like a medieval rosary with a medieval hood?
Yeah, that's chainmail.
Me,
that looks like chain. I feel like that's why, for me personally, I can't see them planning all of this out when they have loose ends like that everywhere.
Yeah. I think he's a fuck up. I don't mean the guy himself. I mean, he was a fuck up as far as their time travel experiment went.
Mando, what Joker and I are saying is that they didn't plan all this out. They only planned it that little bit after the time loop was completed. What they did was send him back to complete the time loop.
Yeah.
And then plan that little bit after the little kid sees him, colors the time loop to make sure that the people still die, because that's when you could have changed something.
To ensure that these events
Perfect.
happen.
Yep.
But could you change something?
Possibly.
Well, the time loop.
And if you do, what happens?
We don't know. It's in the sequel.
Paradox.
Remember, Gilliam's not going to explain. He
doesn't. And good. I'm glad he doesn't. Glad he doesn't. So he sees where they did the spray painting of the 12 monkeys. He gets so excited. He jumps out of the car and leaves her in the car. She could have taken off there at any moment, but he got just too overwhelmed with
this. Speaks a lot to her
seeing
as well. Like the fact that she stays there, her curiosity.
Yeah.
Yes. She thinks about leaving. She's going to leave.
Yeah.
And then she's like, fuck, I got to look. And then they see it's the voice guy. Hey, Bob. and he's, they track you through your teeth, Bob, but I fooled them. and she's making this face while he's talking. You can tell he reeks because Madeline Stowe does a good job with her expressions to show that he's a stinky. But I fooled him.
Given Terry Gilliam, that guy probably did reek.
So he drags her in here because this is where the paint trail goes. It's like, fuck this, though. This almost looks like something out of Escape from New York.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. Escape from New York. Yep.
I feel like I've seen this theater in other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big abandoned theater.
The theater in that
Highlander 2.
Yeah.
The Chuck Norris film, The Hero, and the Terror. That looks like that theater too.
Things go awry. Two of the denizens of the theater attack them. Bruce Willis is just fucking relentless. A nice groin shot here. Then he smashes his head. The other guy snaps his neck. And then he gets a gun. He finally gets a gun. He didn't
I like how she calls him out. You never had a gun. I do now.
But I do now.
Great line.
And then this guy, he's like, you're one of us.
You're one of us.
Yeah.
Yes, Zim, it looks like Baltimore all the fucking time. Yes, this is very reminiscent of modern times. You're one of us. This is where he gives the line. And he recognizes the pig head from when he's in the present.
The slideshow that they showed him in the future.
From where they planted the seed of this is where you need to go to talk about the 12 monkeys.
So now here we are. Jeffrey's minions, or at least ex-minions, he planned all this shit. He started getting too extreme for them, and then he decided he was going to join his father, a famous virologist.
Mm-hmm.
And so they get the Rolodex, they get the address, and that's where they end up going. That's just a nutshell version of it. And that's his father. And you remember seeing that picture earlier in the movie. That was in the present where they had all their shit taped to the wall, so to speak. Rolodex, they've got the address. I love the back of this car. It's like, oh my God, this is just fuck off. These are the same people who want the world to end, though. They do. If you see a car like this, they want the world to end. Assume that.
Uh-huh. Gee.
So now they're on their way. Ew. He still looks like he smells very bad. Oh, and she's like, "What the fuck's up with your leg?" He's like, "I got shot. Some war or something. You wouldn't believe me anyway." And they're talking about the kid in the well again.
And this is where
I think he just kind of lets go. He's like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's a prank. He's hiding in a barn."
Right.
Yeah.
And then she goes to get supplies for medical supplies. Okay, so she's a psychiatrist, that's a medical doctor, but I don't think triage falls under psychiatry.
I think she probably would have had to have taken a biology or anatomy class or something to do basic.
For a psychiatrist to get their certification, they have to function as a medical doctor and do the full. They have to do rotations like the other residents do, ER, psych. So I work in that setting, so that's why I just know this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she pulls
by the time they're functioning as a psychiatrist years later, if you ask them to stitch you up, you're asking for some pain. But
you smell so nice. And this is where you don't really know what's happening here. You think, when you see this, when I saw this the first time, I'm like, oh fuck, he's actually cracking.
Well, then you think that then you hear on the news, and you're like, oh my God, he killed her.
Yeah, because they have a story about they find a mutilated body that could be Dr. Catherine Rayleigh. And these guys are funny because they're talking about the kid in the well. You're like, you're not going to believe this bullshit. They're going to put a monkey with a camera on its head and a fucking roast beef sandwich down that hole. Oh, the monkey's going to eat the roast beef. And it's just the background dialogue is just hilarious.
So this, I was thinking that maybe this is technically the foreshadowing of the government is sending him down as the monkey into the timeline, and instead of searching for the answers, he chose to eat the sandwich, like metaphorically.
Oh, that's a nice little metaphor.
Nice
metaphorical sandwich. That's Mando. Look at you. You're all crazy. I don't give you enough credit sometimes, Mando.
And now we get Christopher Plummer, a very British actor doing a very bad Southern accent.
I forgive him.
And he's basically just kind of going on and on. It doesn't really matter what he's saying. Jeffrey's here. We're now getting Jeffrey 6 years later. He's asleep. He's getting woken up by the security guys because he's got somebody showed up. He's like, normally I would just throw the guy out of here, but given the unique friends that you have visit, we held on to him.
Right? He's like, it's one of your friends from the loony bin that's come to see you, man.
Never seen him.
Yeah, I have no idea who he is.
And
torture him, whatever it is you people do. He's like, I'm here about monkeys. 12 of them.
Oh, monkeys?
Oh,
wait. Arnie Pinkerstaff or something.
Pettibone, which is a weird name to pull out of your ass.
I think he was going for Pennyworth or something. Pennyworth.
I said you to drop in, but it's black tie. And this is where the mind fuck comes in here.
The breakout. But is it a mind fuck though? Is it a mind fuck again?
Yeah, you were telling me about it. Wouldn't it be great if a virus wiped out all the people? I told you my dad was a virologist, and you're like, he's like, no, you're just trying to confuse me. Which you confused all of us at that point. But
because back in the asylum, this is when Bruce was talking about the 12 monkeys. This was the seed that Matt talked about. This is him planting the seed, and now he's just throwing more water on that plant.
The kitchen staff doesn't give a fuck. He's on the run.
Run,
this is where we realize he didn't kill her. And she's pissed though.
No. Well, yeah.
Well,
this is what I told my ex-wife. I told her that our dog loved me more than her, because if I stuck both of them in a trunk for a few hours and then open the trunk, one of them would be happy to see me, and it would not be her.
Also, do you guys know what the movie was referencing with the kid in the well? Like, it's a callback to Baby Jessica in '89.
Yeah,
well, not just Baby Jessica. There was a bunch of those kids in the wells.
Yeah, there's
kids were always falling into wells back in the '80s. I don't know why that was.
Yeah. So he's a kid.
Before they had TikTok, so they had to do something to get attention.
Well, there was a massive people looking around to fill in wells and backyards and stuff after that. Like not so much well. I guess you would say wells because well pipes, but after all this 90 Baby Jessica, and there was a kid. Was Baby Jessica Texas or California?
Texas.
Texas. There was a kid in California who they had to invent new equipment for.
Oh Lord.
There's all sorts of, so there was a rush nationwide of insurance people saying, inspect your property. If there are these holes in the ground, you must fill them in, type of thing.
And wasn't there also one of these cases that actually was a hoax the entire time?
Last
probably.
big hoax I remember,
statistically, I would think probably
was the Balloon Boy from Colorado.
Oh, fuck Balloon Boy! I remember Balloon Boy, but that was way after this. Balloon Boy was after this.
I mean, the 1990s was when the Japanese movie Ringu, The Ring, about the monster in the well came out. It was popping up in horror movies,
So at this point, he's on with her about how he wishes that he was actually crazy, and how all of this. I would love to be crazy, and that this is all in my head. He's like, I could just live here. I've got water. I've got air. And then he starts splashing around. She looks away to try to get the attention of the guys, and she comes back, and
you hear the puddling stop.
What was cool is there were still ripples in the water where he was standing.
Yeah, he's just suddenly just boom, gone.
Boom.
Gone.
And
he Kaiser surveyed that.
Yeah,
hey, it's
Detective Stabler.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out too that Brad Pitt's lines earlier on in the insane asylum saying it's natural for people to want to escape was clearly foreshadowing for what we were going to see with Bruce Willis as he went through this film.
Mm-hmm.
Where the mentality he had in that stream there was him just wanting to escape, and that was natural. Like his reality to come to this reality.
Right.
For those of you at home, kids, those are antennas on top of this TV.
Yes.
That's how you used to receive your television.
Yeah, back in the day.
And they're actually playing her news story right now that she got returned.
Okay, so who remembers adjusting the antennas and then stepping away for a second, be like, just to see if it was.
Oh, yeah. Because it's coming through you
held
too.
it. While you held it, you had a perfect signal, and when you let go to sit down, it would mess up again.
Right?
Yeah.
And here's where she sees that the boy was hiding in a barn, just like he said.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I think this is where, for her, it starts to.
It's a turning point.
He's not. Yeah. He's not nuts, or at least he's telling some form of the truth.
I mean, if you also just realize someone just vanished, and as much as you tried to convince yourself they didn't just vanish, but they just vanished, that's the game changer.
Yes. Yeah. Now you have two very incongruent things, and you're like, well, this can't keep happening. This is a funny scene. The sign, he's back.
It's funny because they're still gaslighting him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they are though. I don't think they are.
Yes, they are. They are. They are absolutely
right.
gaslighting him because they still need to send him back to complete the timeline.
And if his mission is complete, then why the heck would they send it back again? You know.
Well, it's because at this point they think it's the 12 monkeys. They think the army of the 12 monkeys is it.
Who is the guy who looks like John Glover in the middle? It's not John
this
Glover.
Guy?
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know who he is. Yeah, these are all. He looks like Bill Murray's brother.
And
it's kind of an odd hodgepodge.
Keep in mind, just keep in mind the one on the far right. She is the ringleader. She's the ringleader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woman.
It's always the woman.
I know.
So
what a progressive movie.
So he's convinced himself he's crazy now and that they don't exist. I am insane and you are my insanity. And they get kind of pissed at him for this. They give him a pardon. He's got his pardon now. But he's still acting up because
Sure they do.
Because he's all fucking crazy.
So wait a minute. Go back. In the future, they still have like Black Panthers or something. Is that what she was selling?
Right.
That guy right security guy. Yeah.
They still got the Black Panther party in the dilapidated future. I like Terry Gilliam. Just puts anything in there. You know?
It is a hodgepodge. I love the sheets. The sheets I think are hilarious.
That blanket is great.
And they get pissed, so they drug him, knock him out, and go ahead.
No, I was saying they're bear sheets. Bears are awesome. So there you go.
So this is where she's trying to explain to Frank, to the Riddler, that what happened. He's basically telling her, you're trying to fill in blanks to make it fit with what you want it to be. She's like, "Fuck off, Frank."
I'm not going to date you.
And then he gets the voice again. I really fucked up, Bob. It's like, you need to tell them what they need to go so you can go back to her.
Right. Because
what, you guys don't hear that voice? I hear that all the time.
Because his job is not done yet.
So do you think the voice inside his head is one of them?
Yes.
No, I think he's nuts.
Yes.
I think he's cracked.
Nope.
And now she's getting the phone call about the bullet being an antique. She's like, this is like from before 1920. She's like, oh fuck, and that's where it clicks for her about the picture.
And then she sees the picture, which is proof that they intentionally sent him to World War I. I
don't think they intentionally sent him to World War I. I think this is just the timeline.
Ginger, Matt, help me out here.
So
Ginger, Matt, help me out.
They know when they have to send him back based on the timeline itself, right? They know the sequence of events, right? So in other words, they're not deliberately sending him to fulfill the timeline. They have to send him to fulfill the timeline, right?
I think them sending him. I mean, I think these events just transpire the way they are, and it's filling in the blanks where they're supposed to happen. But I don't think they're intentionally doing it. They may not know that this picture exists at all.
Well, they have to send him to those time periods to fulfill the time loop.
Well, here's my question. She's a loose end.
The guy on the stretcher.
She knows everything. Why was she allowed to live?
She's not a loose end because, right.
She's dead like 2 days later.
The guy on the stretcher,
right.
When he goes back to there, the guy on the stretcher is like, follow me. You hear me?
Here's the fucking ball that doesn't.
Yeah, we heard you. It's just we're just trying to take all that in
because we're trying to compute it all.
Because here's the thing: talking about randomness. I mean, how would they ensure that photo got taken?
They know the photo got taken because they're from the future,
right?
But they don't know. But that is one photo of a bazillion photos. I don't know that they had that. It just seems
that would have thousands or thousands of copies that survived that were published.
Really?
I have a hard time buying that theory. I just do. I mean, we're all throwing theories,
Well, we're just talking about the theory. That's true.
Oh, I got to move this along.
Again,
we got about 20 minutes left, and I got to pull the plug.
Which is why it's
right.
such a cool movie.
All right.
Sorry, just throw that in there.
Okay, this is Catherine's calling the actual virologist, but then we notice this little fucking helper buddy here is the guy from her meeting, and then we see him because we only see the back.
Right.
And this is where it kind of is like, oh, that's that dude.
The book side.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, talking about because he was talking about the planet's overpopulated, nuclear energy, blah blah blah. He's a fucking piece of shit. I hate this guy.
Yeah.
This guy is everything in the modern world that I don't like, all in one person. And he wants to end the world. I mean, that's what his game plan is.
No,
that's what all of them would do to us if they could.
They want to.
They want to end it. Yes. He is a tool for them.
Yes.
They want to make sure.
So they're letting.
Yes.
So they're letting James go back again,
Yes.
and they're making him memorize the path of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
And then he rattles it off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you seen this? No. And she's back there painting it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Jeffrey has gone back to the army of the 12 monkeys. It's the dude again. Hey, they're watching you over there, taking pictures. The police, yes. And Brad Pitt's is going over the plan, and again, the way his speech pattern is just fucking great in this.
Yeah.
This is such a not Brad Pitt role that Brad Pitt plays so well.
Yep.
I think it is a Brad Pitt role. Back when he was younger, he played a lot.
Then he played weird parts. He didn't play the hero roles. This is before hero.
Yeah, the
Brad
dashing.
Pitt role. Right. Weird Brad Pitt.
They kind of brought that part out of him again in Bullet Train. I don't know. Did you guys see that?
It was okay.
I did.
It was okay. Yeah, but he was very
Train.
quirky. His character, which was good to see.
Oh man,
Ginger
James, that is
again.
so good, dude. I love
the talent.
Oh, so I didn't know you guys had me blow me up. I'm looking at the picture. I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about us. I will if any of you fucks up, I will what is it? I will shave you, I will spay you, and I will kill you. And so James is suddenly there again. We don't know how long he's been back. We don't know where he's been, but he appears much cleaner than he has in previous versions. And she's like, James, he's like, oh, I want to get caught. I want to get caught. I'm crazy. I don't think he's been back. I think he may have been back for a little bit now because he looks more healed up than he did before. It's hard to say. So he's trying to get the cops' attention. She doesn't. Go ahead, dude. Joker?
Because he's been patched up. He's been patched up in his time. So he's a lot more clean. He's gotten his wounds taken care of, and so now he's right back and to complete the job because of what they've been telling him. This is just
back then they had to set that up as a set. Now they just have to roll down Philly Street and with a camera rolling.
Yeah, true. So they got a hotel room. They only do. It's one of those hotels where they book by the hour.
That is a huge hotel room.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
It's rotting.
It's a no-tell motel.
Place, and he's basically going over again how he thinks he's crazy. But she explains to him, "No, you're not." No. She has the picture. She knows he's not crazy now.
The roles have been reversed. Yeah, that's great.
And she's like, explain this. He's like, and he can't, not really. He's like, maybe I read about that somewhere or something, and it doesn't, his explanation can't make sense because it can't make sense. Little love for Bruce here.
And this is where Madeline was so good in this scene.
Mm-hmm. So just a little bit of context with this scene, the guy downstairs thinks she's a hooker with him.
Yeah. Yes.
And so he calls this pimp guy and is like, hey, somebody's moving in on your territory. So this guy shows up.
I love how he just busts into the room like, this is my territory. And he puts the coat.
Bruce is like, is this really happening? Is this happening now? He's like, yes, this is definitely happening now.
This is such a great scene.
Well, the quote here is just fucking hilarious. Where is it? Hey, oh yeah, it's so Bruce takes him in the bathroom, and she's worried he's killing him in there because all you hear is screaming and such. And then he comes out, and his mouth's all bloody because he knocked his teeth out. He's like, I don't want them to track me. I want to stay here. And then the police come in, and the guy from the bathroom is, hey, is that the cops?
Some crazy coked up.
I'm an innocent
Some
victim
crazy
here.
coked up bitch.
And a crazy dentist.
I was attacked by a coked up whore and a fucking crazy dentist.
Yeah.
I also
Great
don't
line.
know why, but when she yells, we could use the cash James, or we need the cash James. It always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Oh yes, dude. That's her crazy moment. I love it.
So now he's seeing.
Oh my God, we're crazy.
He's seeing this
we're
building.
Both insane.
And this is he saw this building in his time where it was all like dilapidated and snow covered when
where
he was
the lion
in
is.
in the suit when he first came out.
And she went to go call the number that he was supposed to call. And she's excited because she thinks, it was just a carpet cleaning place. I left a message.
Right.
And then she starts saying it back to him, and he's like, and then he finishes for her.
Yeah.
He's like, they got your message, Catherine.
Because it was all part of the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just to gaslight him.
I think it just had to happen because it had already happened. It's time travel, man.
Okay, because they need Bruce to want to go back. They need him to want to go back.
He still has free will. He could have said, "No, I'm not going back," and then that blows time wide open, and bad stuff happens.
Right? Because
but he had already said yes.
But they gave him his pardon, so they gave him the illusion of free will. You can leave, you can go.
Yep.
But
why
then
the hell would they
stuff back?
Why the hell would they let? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Ginger, go.
Well, I was like, why the hell would they let an insane person go? Like, why would they spend all the money and the resources to send it back again? Do you know what I mean? It's an insane person. Because they need them to do it. Exactly. They're using him.
Yes.
He's a pawn.
He's a
mad eye.
So they kidnapped Jeffrey's father. And that's basically the thing. And you think it's so they could get the virus stuff, but that's clearly not what it is. It's not that big a deal. Go ahead. Go.
No.
What movie is this?
So I have no idea.
That's Vertigo.
Is it Vertigo? Jimmy Stewart.
Is that what that is?
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I want to see that now. Damn.
Yeah, this is where I realized that thanks to being on Jacob's channel so often, I recognize Jimmy Stewart's voice within about half a second.
Or North by Northwest?
Oh, North by Northwest. You're right. It's North by Northwest.
No. North by Northwest is Cary Grant.
Oh, okay. So
this is a Jimmy Stewart movie. I
looked it up the other day. It's Vertigo.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Okay.
So she's putting on his disguise. They're just having a conversation while now you're seeing the animals.
So this was their result. This is what the 12 monkeys was. This is what they thought it was.
There we go.
God.
Vertigo. Here. Okay.
Strangers on a Train. That's a good movie.
Wow.
This is like an anthology of Jacob's channel right there on that marquee.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
24-hour Jacob of Ironside vest. So now you see the versions of themselves that you see in his memory. Did you beam out?
In his dream.
He beamed out and came back.
Okay. You see the versions of themselves that are in his dream, his memory. This is the way I always remember you.
And I gotta say, Madeline, as a blonde, I'm not mad at it.
Then you start seeing the animals, the tigers, the monkeys, the elephants. We did it, and this is what he finds in the future. It's hard to believe it's the same bear still hanging around there 30 fucking years later, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Now they're on their way to the airport, and the cab driver's like, I think you're gonna be late, and it's like 7:30. Our flight's 9:30. She's like, on a normal day, yeah, but now you got to take into your Army of the 12 Monkeys factor.
Also,
like, what the fuck?
This is during the time 1995 when they made the movie that you could show up at the airport an hour early and make your flight.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Before the dark times.
Yeah, you weren't. Yeah, taking her shoes off and
before they
your
fucked
underwear.
everything up. That doesn't do anything, by the way. That is just a fucking control thing. That's all that is. Anyway, so you're seeing the animals, blah blah blah. They make it to the fucking airport on time.
I want to say that those flamingos were like the only special effects in this whole movie.
So he needs to go fix his mustache.
Right, because also right now he's starting to freak out a little bit because this is now his dream.
It's everything's coming together. The loop is completing.
Americas.
Hey, Americas. So you've come in at the I'd say at the right time, but there is no right time during this one. So this is back when you could use a fake name to fly because she pays in cash. I don't think you can do any of this shit anymore. He needs to go fucking fix his mustache. And here you recognize this from the memory. It's the case. This dude wears some weird clothes. So he's now calling the machine saying, "Hey, you got it wrong. It wasn't the Army of the 12 Monkeys. It was something stupid. It's that you're looking for someone else. I'm not coming back. Fuck off."
Or so.
And now,
Go on, Shield.
And then now that was the guy that's got all the viruses in his back.
Right.
And he's got tickets, and she's like, "Wow, you're going to San Francisco, Rio de Janeiro, a whole bunch of different places, Peking, that's all.
Kinshasa.
Yeah, Kinshasa.
Right. Naming off all the places.
Yeah, it's also how you can tell it's 95 because you can call it Peking. Apparently, that you can't.
Right.
Wait, what's it called now?
And they see the timestamp on the voicemail. We're there. Send the woman back. Yeah.
So he hears the voice again, and it's funny. It's not this kid's some poor guy in the shitter. You really fucked up this time, Bob. It's like, leave me alone. I'm not coming back. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? Hey, you do whatever you want to, man.
You do you, man.
Poor guy. Then he runs into Jose coming out of the shitter.
You can still be a hero. You can still be a hero.
He's like, what the fuck was that phone call, Cole? Hey, this is Cole. Maybe you are just a carpet cleaning place. What the fuck was that, man? They're really pissed. And then he gives him the gun, and this is where he's like, this isn't about the virus at all. This is about doing what you're fucking told.
More tigers.
More tigers. Jose doesn't blend well. He's a rough looking dude, but the future was rough, or the present. And he does say, if you don't do what you're told, I'm supposed to kill the girl. And there's young Cole.
Manipulation 101 right there. Yeah.
And there's hottest on that one. So
yes,
this is where she makes the connection about who's who.
Right, she sees that the doctor dude's picture in the corner,
and that was kind of a lot of. To me, that was some random shit that had to work out. She had to see the guy, then she had to see the USA Today.
Because so now the reason Cole says, I'm going to shoot. If you don't shoot her, I will. It's to divert from this guy because Madeline will see this and then will say, that's him. You need to kill him. But he is so worried about them trying to kill her. His attention is diverted.
Yeah.
Here's this
so
dude.
I don't know if this guy is here or not.
No,
because
right.
I didn't think he was. But then Jose says, "You see, man, I don't have I don't have a choice." It's like Jose sees him too.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't sure if he was there or not.
Right. This is one of the
I didn't
guards
think
from
he was,
the
but then
future prison.
Right. Yeah. It's what you causing trouble again, Cole. So now looking for him, she knows who it is, and this part fucking the guy makes him break out.
Okay, and no one. Okay, this is no one would open a live culture thing. No
one would do that. Okay.
Yeah. Now.
Then I could see these morons doing it.
And this is where the virus was released in Philadelphia, right here. You got patient 0 there.
So I guess it must have been pretty. So yeah, he gets it, but like Cole obviously doesn't get it. Cole's in the airport too. But I guess if this guy breathed it in, he's patient 0, so he spreads it from there. It's not all over the airport yet.
No.
I guess you had to be
Well,
like,
they're
right
going to
there to
people
get
who's
it.
naturally immune to it.
I like the music
Well,
at
that's
this
true.
point too.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was very.
Right. Yeah, I thought Cole was one of the. Well, if he was naturally immune, why would he need that suit? Well, I guess so. He.
Well, they
wouldn't bring
don't.
it
They
back
don't
into
necessarily
the
know
thing,
he's
yeah.
naturally immune either, though. They have no idea. It's just protocols. Everybody else. This lady, you calling me a moron? I'm calling you a fucking moron.
See, look, you can't even tell.
Yeah, no wonder. He's like, that's not necessary, sir.
Oh no, it is. Because
Kerfuffle,
in 2
kerfuffle.
days.
And here it is. This part, I love it because there's like an alarm starts going off, not in the airport, but in the soundtrack. That this is signaling you feel the timer coming to a close for these events. And everything runs in slow motion. It's just really, I love that the closing of the circle at this point. I thought it was fantastic. You see everything in real time with quotes around him.
Boom.
And his mustache is flapping haphazardly in the air.
Yeah, his mustache is out of regulation.
He's just running. The blood's gushing out of Cole.
And mission complete. Yes, it is. And now his job is done.
We get the eye contact here. She's looking for him because she knows he's there.
As a kid, right?
Because he told her, and she sees him and she sees the eyes, and she gets like this. It's almost a smile, but it's sadness at the same time because she knows everything. She knows everything that Cole told her is going to come to pass at this point.
Yep.
Oh, there's Jacob. Poor Jacob. He got taken out by the raccoons again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I know we're up against the clock, but real quick, blonde or brunette, which is better?
Both.
Yeah, good answer. That's the right answer. That is the right answer.
Okay, no los dos.
The correct answer is skirt when she was at
The correct answer is Madeline Stowe. That's it.
Oh, see, and yes, I'm in insurance. There it is, right there. There it is.
So my first thought was, is this?
I don't take that line the same way you do.
There's no way she'd be ancient by the time it was the future, so she obviously came back in time.
Right. Yeah, that's
because this
that
is one
much
of the
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus, she's
I don't take the
listed in the
insurance
credits
line the
as
same way. I take the insurance line as meaning she's there to get the virus and take it home and fucking. Although I don't know how she's supposed to take it home.
She's there if he didn't make it on the plane because she knows where he has to go to pick up the case and go do his itinerary.
Yep.
Isn't he kind of acting already kind of sick? He's like already kind of sweating a little bit.
Well, he was just running through the airport. I don't think he was in very good shape.
No.
Well, it's because he was running.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we get Cole the last couple of shot. We end with where we start with Cole's eyes, and that's something that Terry Gilliam likes to do is have that kind of deal. So that is 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys.
This is I wish I'm sorry Jacob had to leave. I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie though. I've seen it many times, and I do like that we all have kind of a different version of some of it we don't all agree on.
Hey, that's the fun of the debate that I was talking about.
Yeah, this movie wouldn't.
We're all
movie
friends.
would be far,
Talking about this stuff without hating each other.
This movie would be far less fun.
I'm never coming on here again.
I don't care how wrong you all are. They're still great people.
Fuck you. So
you're cool.
What I don't. This movie would not have been nearly as good if it was, this is this. If it wasn't so open ended that we couldn't have this discussion, it wouldn't be any fun at all. Because it's wait. Oh, is he coming back? Is he beaming back in? Jacob's making me feel mentally divergent. Did we lose somebody else?
Blair had to
Blair
bounce.
had to go. Like,
did Blair bounce?
Blair's gone.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry we don't get to have much of an after discussion here, but because I do have to go, I'm sorry about that.
It's all right.
But that's a fun. Again, if you haven't seen this movie, you can still watch it even with everything that we fucking covered tonight, which was all of it. You're gonna watch it and you're gonna come away with your own version of this in your head as to what you think happens in this movie.
You will agree with me, Matt, and Ginger. That's the right one.
Yes, that's correct.
Whoa.
First of all,
and if you don't, we'll be selling 12 monkeys after you.
All right, and Josh as well. Okay, fine.
Bring it on.
Josh just makes shit up. You can't trust him.
We'll send Matt out to your house and direct me to convince you otherwise.
Yes.
No, Americans, there's no pillow talk, sadly.
No pillow talk tonight. I'm sorry. I got to wrap this up, guys. I am sorry about that. Like I said, just too much. It's a long movie. We had a lot. We had to cover out the gate. So again, watch this movie, even if you have never seen it, but you watch the stream and you're like, spoilers. Fuck off. Watch the movie anyway, because I guarantee you're going to be like, well, I don't agree with that. I do agree with this. Or you're like, fuck, I have no idea what the fuck I just watched, which is most of us the first time we saw this movie. So let's go. I'm going to say thank you very much to our panel, and minus Jacob and Blair. Always wonderful to have them on. Sorry about having to jump out, you guys, but it is what it is. You'll be back here. Always come back. They always come back. And to the chat, always, again, you guys always bring so much to this show. And I very much appreciate all of you. So let's go around real quick. You get like 30 seconds or less on our exit. So Shieldball, what do you got?
All right. Hey, thanks for having me on. Thanks to the chat. I will not be on Jacob's channel next Tuesday because I'm going to be having an appointment and stuff I got to do. And I will be on the free range next Thursday on this channel. That's what I got going on. Thanks, everybody.
Right on. Mando.
I am not sure what I'm doing tomorrow, but this Saturday I will be playing some Dungeons and Dragons with my friend Nadia and a few other people on the Inside All Day podcast. It's going to be fun. Cool. I'm playing a World War I artificer German. So yeah, it's going to be great. It's fun.
Okay, just make sure you at least once say "Shut up, Shadow." At least once during that stream.
Absolutely.
Poor Shadow.
Well, actually, like his character and my character are kind of like
that poor kid.
Wait, and hold up a picture of Brad Pitt in World War One.
There you go.
Beard, what do you got coming up, buddy?
This Saturday at 9:30 Central. Sorry, I don't know anybody else's time zones. They don't exist to me. After the weekend harder. We've got guests Ryan from Legion Talk and Nerdy Neo. We'll be talking things like the recent comments from what Pablo Schreiber from Halo, the Avatar Last Airbender trailer, of course, and a couple other things. And then on Monday, after the weekend again, will be 8:30 Central. We'll be concluding our Lord of the Rings trilogy kind of retrospective with Return of the King.
Right on.
Great film. Awesome. Just watched it last night at work. It was amazing.
Joker, what do you have coming up, buddy?
Oh, yes. Well, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific time, the only real time there is, I will be dropping my predictions based on some of the Oscar nominations. And don't be surprised, folks. There may be a twist at the best picture. Don't be surprised. And then 7 p.m. Pacific time will be Legion Talk, Friday Night's Royal Rumble. We will be talking about the quick dismissal of a certain Doctor Who companion who, despite being wanting to be very diverse, just wasn't diverse enough. So
no, she was missing at least 4 different qualities.
And then I'll be back here, and then I'll be back here again next week, of course. And we'll also be with many, many, many scissors.
Yes. The family should be together next week. Funkiest
Max is
Monkey,
here
Matt,
too?
What do you got coming up?
Next
week. No. I don't have anything. I don't have anything for next week yet. I don't have my. It'll be our normal cast members, and then I don't know who else.
Friday Pandemonium tomorrow at 3 p.m. Just did a bunch of videos like Reacher, Monarch, One More Shot, a whole bunch of videos dropped at reviews. Probably Roman Channel next week. Bunch of stuff with Jacob. There you go.
Right on. So, James, let's see your as finished as you are here. Oh, James, always.
It's water. I only did pencil and watercolor this time.
That looks amazing.
Beautiful, man.
That looks amazing.
That is fantastic.
You should,
Bruce.
Yep. The next Comic-Con you go to or something,
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll bring this stuff out here. Thanks. Thanks again for having me on the show, Roman. I love this movie. I loved hearing everybody's take on it. It was really cool. To be honest, my take on this movie didn't change until
everyone else.
my take on it didn't change until very recent. Oh, actually, a couple years ago, whatever. But as for me, I'm just working on some Spawnuary stuff. I don't know if you guys are following Todd McFarlane. He's got like a cover contest, so I'm doing some artwork for that right now.
Oh,
we got the
Violator.
We got Scorched. We got the Scorched piece.
Holy shit, dude!
There's another Scorched piece going on.
Oh yeah,
and then
that's beautiful. I've seen you posting that.
I'm working on another Violator right now.
Nice,
nice.
So hopefully one of these will catch McFarlane's eyes and the judge's eyes, and they'll want to throw it on a cover. That would be nice. A dream come true. But I'm just working on that and trying to finish up commissions right now. So I've been kind of lacking on the whole live stream stuff, but I'll try to do that.
Oh, it's good to have.
I appreciate you popping on with us.
Oh no, this is always fun. It's always fun to come on here. I always enjoy it. Thank you.
All right, Josh, what do you got, buddy?
Sunday night, you can find me on Max's Man Cave with MVP. Tuesday night, I'll be having my show Culture Popped. And we have another new show starting soon called Cherry Popped, which I'll also be doing with Max.
Whoa!
Yeah, Cherry Popped. And there's something else that's going on in the backgrounds that we'll announce soon that someone on this panel might be involved with. So more to come.
Is it me, and do I know?
No and no.
Yeah, and our
I should have said yes and no. Yes and no.
Doesn't involve scissors.
So, who knows? So, thank you for being with us, Josh and James. You're our guests. Everyone else is one of our regulars here.
Yeah, fuck you, James, and your talent.
I just look. If I was just to do this on my own, sit at home, it wouldn't come out this great. It's like listening to you guys. I'm not kidding you. Like this energy that you guys give, it comes straight out there in the work. It's all you guys.
Sad and depressed. That it doesn't look sad and depressed to me.
Well, it is a bit sad and depressed this one, isn't it?
So, for me, I am going to be on Wednesday this week over with JT Gunn at 6:30 Pacific Standard.
It's about time.
I know, unless some other thing derails us. I'm supposed to have been on his show like 5 or 6 times. Every time something terrible happens. This is not going to be a terrible thing. And then next Thursday, as always, at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard, we're going to be doing a free range next week. Hopefully, all of our regulars will be there, and anybody else who wants to. I'll throw out the bolo in a couple days, seeing who wants to show up. And the Thursday after that is still a question mark. I don't have an answer for that yet. I have an idea, but I'm going to bounce it off some of my friends here. But do have to go. Please, in the description of the what? Wait, what? What? No! Damn it, Josh.
No Saltburn. No, you are.
No, I got to get out of here because my wife's going to beat me soon.
She's going to give you a
have fun.
Yeah, it's something bad is going to happen. So I do have. Thank you all for being here tonight. In the description of the show is everybody's information. Go visit them, look at their Twitter, and we also have AJ's GoFundMe info in there as well. That's still active. So we love AJ. Please help him out if you can. So again, that's also in the description of the show. So please hop in. So that's it for now. Thank you for being here. As always, very much appreciate you guys. And until next time, be kind.
Thank you.